Phoenix Nights. Chapter 23-22. The great demonic god was actually that guy. His cultivation was heaven-defying, and he had once chased after Lin Feng. At that time, Lin Feng was still no match for the great demonic god, but that was no longer the case. The great demonic god was extremely flamboyant, but he was so strong that no one dared to provoke him. Thus, despite his arrogance, he still lived a carefree life. The prodigy ranking battle this time was extremely lively. All sorts of monsters had appeared, and they were currently scattered among the 8 heavens. They had yet to gather. Once they did, an intense battle would definitely break out. The Paragon Battle of Heaven's Favorites was naturally eye-catching. Of course, the Paragon Battle of Heaven's Favorites would most likely not start early. It was very likely that the final battle would only start when everyone reached the top of the Prodigy Tower. The great demonic god quickly flew towards the depths of the Dragon Pond. Lin Feng and Hu Meixian also entered the Dragon Pond. They flew for a long time, but apart from cultivators, they didn't find anything else. Many of the treasures in the Dragon Pond have already been taken away, and those giant dragons formed by Dragon Chi have all been killed. Now it's too difficult to find opportunities in the Dragon Pool. Many people in the Dragon Pond were discussing. They had been searching for a long time, but they hadn't found anything, so they were very depressed. There's also a dragon cave. That's the true secret of the Dragon Pond, but we'll just be throwing our lives away if we go there. Yeah, that's a place only the top experts are qualified to enter. Let's go. If we can't find anything in the Dragon Pond, let's go somewhere else. There's no need to hang ourselves on a tree. That's right. Let's go somewhere else and try our luck. Many cultivators flew outside and left the Dragon Pond. Lin Feng and Hu Meixian flew towards the depths of the Dragon Pond. They were very interested in the Dragon Cave. Look, that place should be where the Dragon Cave is, right? Lin Feng pointed towards the depths of the Dragon Pond. The place Lin Feng pointed at was filled with rolling black fog. From within the black fog, roars could be heard from time to time. At the same time, the roars of cultivators could also be heard. Someone was fighting in the Dragon Cave. Whoosh! Lin Feng and Hu Meixian quickly flew over. Inside the Dragon Cave, demonic light surged, covering the sky and the sun. It emitted waves of terrifying waves that made one's soul tremble. Within the demonic light, vaguely, he could see dozens of figures fighting against the creatures within the demonic light. The Dragon Cave is guarded by many powerful puppets. Many experts have been attacking for many days and destroyed many puppets. I estimate that the Dragon Cave's guardian puppets are not far away. It's just that I don't know what's in the Dragon Cave. It actually has so many powerful guardian puppets. I'm not sure about that. Everything will become clear after the Dragon Cave opens. Many people stood in the distance to watch the battle and did not choose to get close. Some cultivators were strong enough to participate in the Battle of the Dragon Cave, but those cultivators did not participate. Obviously, he wanted to sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. After the people inside defeated the guardian puppets, they followed them in. The battle had been going on for many days. Not long after Lin Feng and Hu Meixian arrived, the battle ended. All of the guardian puppets were killed. The Dragon Cave's protective barrier was also completely destroyed. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately after, a number of figures flew quickly into the Dragon Cave and disappeared into it. Lin Feng and Hu Meixian also flew into the Dragon Cave. Just as they entered the Dragon Cave, a mass of demonic light surged. Someone attacked Lin Feng and attacked Lin Feng with a palm. Lin Feng's reaction was extremely fast. He turned around and attacked with a palm. Bang! Accompanied by a dull sound of collision, Lin Feng was sent flying by the powerful palm. The person who attacked was so strong that it shocked Lin Feng. At this time, Lin Feng saw clearly who the cultivator who attacked him was. It was none other than the great demonic god. Kid, your cultivation has improved. To think that you can block my palm. The great demonic god looked at Lin Feng with a sinister smile. Lin Feng looked at Hu Meixian and said, Let's work together to kill this guy. Wu Meixian smiled and said, That's a good idea. What are we waiting for? Let's just do it. The moment she said that, Lin Feng and Wu Meixian attacking the great demonic god from the left and right. The great demonic god sneered. So what if it's 1 against 2? I can still crush the 2 of you. The great demonic god was extremely arrogant. He did not think much of Lin Feng and Wu Meixian. But when the 2 sides really started fighting, the great demonic god realized that something was wrong. Lin Feng and Wu Meixian's fighting strength was much stronger than he had imagined. After hundreds of rounds, Wu Meixian found an opportunity to send the great demonic god flying with a kick. As for Lin Feng, he activated the Dracophant arm and attacked the great demonic god. The great demonic god hastily blocked Lin Feng's attack. However, he was sent flying by Lin Feng. Haha. Great demonic god, I've noticed that your cultivation hasn't improved much over the years, but your bragging skills have improved. Lin Feng suddenly laughed. He quickly charged at the great demonic god. At the same time, Wu Meixian also charged at the great demonic god. 1 against 2. That's an unfair victory. There's nothing to be proud of, alright? The great demonic god snorted coldly. He did not want to admit that he had lost. Thus, he found an excuse for himself. But when he saw Lin Feng and Wu Meixian charging at him, the great demonic god turned and fled. Lin Feng was dumbfounded. The great demonic god was an extremely arrogant person. Why was he fleeing now? Lin Feng found it hard to believe that the great demonic god would do something like this. Great demonic god, when did you become a coward? Lin Feng shouted as he chased after the great demonic god. The great demonic god scolded him. You're the coward. Your whole family is cowards. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. F***ck. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes when he heard the great demonic god's words. The great demonic god was probably the only person who could make running away sound so refreshing. The dragon cavern's tunnels extended in all directions, and the great demonic god quickly disappeared into them. It wasn't difficult to avoid being hunted down in this kind of passageway that extended in all directions. A treasure! A treasure! A top-tier true treasure has appeared in one of the stone chambers. Suddenly, a loud shout came from the depths of the cavern. It attracted many people's attention. Chapter 23-23. Such a violent fluctuation shocked the surrounding cultivators. They all rushed over, wanting to see what it was that could cause such a powerful fluctuation. Let's go and see what treasure it is, Lin Feng said. He and Wu Meixian quickly rushed toward the stone room. Soon, the 2 entered the stone room. The stone room was very large, and there were about 200 to 300 people inside. It was very crowded. There was a huge beast head in the stone room. It was the head of a Swanee. A Swanee was the son of a dragon. A dragon had 9 sons. The 9 sons were different. Among the sons of a dragon, a Swanee was an extremely violent one. This kind of beast could still be seen in some ancient forests. However, the bloodline of those Swanee had long become impure. It was very difficult to restore the Swanee to its former glory. However, this Swanee was different. This Swanee was not made of flesh and blood. It was made of bronze. Only a huge head was exposed. Its eyes flashed with a cold light, and its ferocious aura was monstrous. Bronze Swanee! Lin Feng was shocked. This bronze Swanee only had a head exposed. He wondered if the person who created this bronze Swanee had only created a head. Or did he create a complete bronze Swanee, and the other part of the bronze Swanee was hidden in the mountain? The bronze swan and I stared coldly at everyone who had entered the stone room. Lowly ants, this is not a place where you can intrude. Get out of here, all of you, it said in human language. A beast made of bronze can speak? Has it become a spirit? A demon soldier. It must have transformed into a demon soldier, right? It must have turned into a bronze form. Otherwise, how could it speak? That's right, it must be so. It belongs to whoever gets it! Many cultivators shouted, and then they began to fight for the bronze Swanee. Demon weapons were extremely precious to begin with. However, demon soldiers were also divided into different grades. Without a doubt, among the demon soldiers, the most precious were the demon soldiers transformed from bronze or stone tools. Many people believed that the bronze Swanee was a demon soldier made of bronze. Such a treasure was enough to make many people risk their lives. Pooh! 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 The two sides engaged in a fierce battle. Tearing sounds could be heard one after another. Cultivators were killed one after another. Their corpses fell to the ground and blood flowed everywhere. Scram! All of you scram! The treasure is mine! Lin Feng roared and rushed towards the bronze Swanee. It would be even better if the bronze Swanee had a complete body. Lin Feng had heard that there was an ancient Taoist saint called Laozi who rode a green ox and was invincible. If he obtained the bronze Swanee, in that case, he would be able to ride the bronze swan in the future and be invincible throughout the heavens. The bronze Swanee was much cooler than Laozi's green ox. You're courting death. Many people cast sidelong glances at Lin Feng. Daring to snatch food from the tiger's mouth was simply courting death. Boom! 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 Waves after waves of terrifying energy fluctuations swept through the world and surged out. A dense number of cultivators began attacking Lin Feng. All sorts of powerful divine abilities blasted towards Lin Feng. In the face of these terrifying attacks, Lin Feng waved his dragon elephant arm and smashed the surrounding cultivators' attacks with a punch. Then, all the cultivators around him were sent flying. Following that, Lin Feng quickly stepped towards the bronze Swanee. That's the eternal and immortal path of purification. Lin Feng began chanting the incantation of the Great Purification Technique. The Great Purification Technique condensed the power of purification and lingered on Lin Feng's palm. Lin Feng slammed his palm towards the bronze Swanee's head, wanting to directly purify it. This was the best way to do it once and for all. The bronze Swanee was a demon soldier. Some of its characteristics were similar to cultivators. If he directly purified it, he could completely control the bronze Swanee. But at that moment, the bronze Swanee suddenly opened its bloody mouth. A huge ball of energy directly shot towards Lin Feng. Originally, Lin Feng thought that he could purify the bronze Swanee. Therefore, he did not expect the bronze Swanee to be preparing an attack. It was too late to dodge now. Bang! Lin Feng was sent flying by the energy ball spat out by the bronze Swanee. He felt his blood boil. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, his physical body was strong enough to withstand the bronze Swanee's attack. Are you all right? Asked Mei Xian hastily, helping Lin Feng stand up. I'm fine. Lin Feng shook his head. Serves you right. The others looked at Lin Feng with a gloating expression. Then, those cultivators rushed towards the bronze Swanee. Rumble! Rumble! Suddenly, the entire stone room began to shake violently. Crack, crack. Then, the stone room's walls and ground began to crack. Roar! The bronze Swanee let out an earth-shaking roar. Then, the walls collapsed. The bronze Swanee's body was revealed. It was a body made of bronze and emitted a terrifying wave of energy. That wave was simply suffocating. The bronze Swanee raised its huge claws and slapped at the surrounding cultivators. Bang, 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 one cultivator after another was sent flying by the bronze Swanee. Those cultivators' bodies exploded in midair and died on the spot. His death was simply too tragic. Not good, the bronze Swanee is free. Let's go. Seeing this scene, many people were scared out of their wits and hurriedly rushed outside. Move, move, don't block the way! Lin Feng shouted and squeezed through the crowd with charming fox. The bronze Swanee was showing off its might. A single slap of its claws could kill a dozen or even dozens of people. Most importantly, the bronze Swanee's body was not made of flesh and blood. It was made of mysterious bronze, and this bronze was almost indestructible. Therefore, the bronze Swanee's defense was too strong. These cultivators' magic treasures and divine abilities could not cause any harm to the bronze Swanee's body. This was also the reason why Lin Feng fled. The bronze swan and I was such a terrifying existence that it would be almost impossible to deal with it once it escaped. If he did not leave, staying would be suicide. Lin Feng and Charming Fox rushed all the way into the depths and finally got rid of the bronze swanee. When they passed by an intersection, Lin Feng suddenly felt a chill on his back. It was as if something unclean had appeared behind him. He could not help but be shocked. Then, he quickly turned around and looked behind him, but there was nothing behind him. Chapter 23-24. Lin Feng had always trusted his intuition. Therefore, that feeling just now should not be an illusion. However, Lin Feng really didn't notice anything, which made him feel puzzled. Didn't you have a special feeling just now? Lin Feng looked at Hu Mei Xian and asked. A special feeling? Are you trying to say that there's something evil targeting us? Hu Mei Xian was a very smart woman. Therefore, she immediately guessed what Lin Feng wanted to say. Her pretty face could not help but become serious. Lin Feng nodded and said, No one has entered this place for so many years. Who knows what evil things might appear here? I just happen to have a treasure here. Hu Mei Xian said and took out an alms bowl. What is that? Lin Feng looked at Hu Mei Xian in astonishment. My alms bowl is not simple. It was once used by Bodhidharma in the past. It has long been tainted with Bodhidharma's aura, Hu Mei Xian said. Bodhidharma was an extremely ancient existence in the history of Buddhism. This existence's cultivation was heaven-defying. It was said that in order to comprehend the Tao, he had sat under a Bodhi tree for 30 million years. Of course, this was just a legend. Whether it was true or not was already impossible to verify. However, the greatness of Bodhidharma was worthy of affirmation. In the Buddhist world there were still Bodhidharma temples and Bodhidharma temples. The treasures used by Bodhidharma in the past were naturally extraordinary. They had long been tainted with Bodhidharma's Buddhist power. Even spirits, ghosts, and other things would be restrained. Lin Feng also took out the ghost-raising jar. He didn't want anything to jump out of it. If Bodhidharma's alms bowl could not deal with those evil things, there was still his ghost-raising jar. The ghost-raising jar was a very powerful treasure. It could devour all kinds of evil ghosts, malicious ghosts, ominous ghosts, and so on. No ghost could hide from the ghost-raising jar. The two of them continued to walk deeper. When they took out the alms bowl and the ghost-raising jar left behind by Bodhidharma, Lin Feng immediately realized that the gloomy and cold aura had also disappeared. He said, I can't sense that cold aura anymore. The thing in the dark seems to have left. It might really be a ghost. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so afraid of the thing in our hands. It's good that it left. We'll mind our own business as long as it doesn't provoke us, Hu Mei Xian said. Lin Feng nodded and continued to walk inside with Hu Mei Xian. Suddenly, an incomparably mournful scream came from the tunnel not far away. Lin Feng and Hu Mei Xian quickly rushed over. When they arrived here, more than 10 cultivators had already gathered at the scene of the incident. A cultivator was examining the corpse of a dead cultivator. How did he die? Someone asked. The cultivator who inspected the corpse shook his head and said, I didn't find any injuries. Some people felt that the cultivator must have been careless when he was inspecting, which was why he didn't find anything. Therefore, the cultivators also went forward to check, but they couldn't find anything wrong. Isn't this death too strange? Someone said with a trembling voice. The unknown was the scariest thing. And obviously, the cultivator's strange death struck fear into everyone's hearts. Lin Feng said, Everyone make way. Let me take a look. Everyone made way. Lin Feng squatted next to the corpse and examined it, but he didn't find anything. Just as he was about to get up, he suddenly found a very faint green handprint behind the ear of the dead cultivator. Look, there's a green handprint here. Lin Feng pointed at the green handprint and said, That can't mean anything, right? A cultivator said. Lin Feng said, A normal handprint naturally can't mean anything, but this green handprint can mean the cause of death of this cultivator. What do you mean? Everyone looked at Lin Feng. most handprints that can leave behind a body are bruises. But look, what kind of bruise is this? Lin Feng pointed at the green handprint and said, "There's a black aura in the green." A cultivator said, "A bruise has a dark purple blood print, but the green we see in front of us has a black aura. Under normal circumstances, there's only one possibility for such a strange phenomenon to occur." Lin Feng said. "What kind of situation would cause such a situation to occur?" someone asked. "Ghosts." Lin Feng took a deep breath and said, "A ghost must have appeared. When ghosts kill people, they will have a black aura, so this green handprint with a black aura should be left behind by a ghost's claw." Hearing the word ghost, many people couldn't help but gasp. Cultivators would also be afraid of these strange existences. "Brother, you mustn't joke with us," someone said. "Of course I'm not joking. Everyone, take out all the Buddhist treasures you have and carry them with you. Buddhist treasures can restrain ghosts. Perhaps they can scare away the ghosts hiding in the dark," Lin Feng said. Hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone took out their Buddhist treasures. This was a must-have. Many people would bring their Buddhist treasures when they go out, just in case they encounter ghosts. "We can't stay here for long. Let's go." Lin Feng looked at the charming fox immortal and said. This place made him feel very uneasy. The charming fox immortal nodded and went deeper into the cave with Lin Feng. "Since we've already gotten some treasures in the dragon cave, let's go out." "All right, let's leave this strange place," a cultivator said and went outside. There were also cultivators who went into other tunnels, not wanting to leave just like that. Suddenly, the ghost aura in the tunnel rolled. The ghost aura instantly drowned the cultivators. These cultivators' treasures didn't deter that terrifying ghost at all. They didn't even have the chance to scream before they were killed by the ghost. "Something's not right. Something is approaching us," the charming fox immortal said. Her senses were very strong. She felt that something was wrong before Lin Feng did. "Look behind us." Lin Feng pointed behind them. The charming fox immortal also turned to look, and her expression turned ugly. Behind them, darkness completely covered the tunnel. The ghost aura was eerie. The rolling ghost aura wanted to silently devour the two of them, but they noticed it first. Lin Feng and the charming fox immortal quickly retreated. But the ghost aura kept chasing after them. "What is that?" Suddenly, the charming fox immortal pointed at the ghost aura. Lin Feng looked carefully at the rolling ghost aura. He saw that a blood-stained white robe flew out from the rolling ghost aura. Chapter 23-25. The blood-stained white robe flew out of its own accord and floated in the ghost fog. It was too demonic and terrifying, making one's hair stand on end. Lin Feng's expression also became serious. The same went for the charming fox immortal. The unknown was often the most terrifying, just like what they saw in front of them. What they saw in front of them was unknown, making one's heart palpitate and horrified. "What the hell is that?" Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice. He still held the ghost-raising jar in his hand. The charming fox immortal held the alms bowl passed down by the ancient Buddha Bodhidharma. Lin Feng poured his powerful magic power into the ghost-raising jar. If the blood-stained white robe was related to the ghost, then the ghost-raising jar should be able to devour the blood-stained white robe. In fact, Lin Feng now suspected that there was a terrifying ghost that had a way to hide its body. And that ghost was now wearing a blood-stained white robe. But because the ghost could hide its body, they couldn't see the ghost's existence now, only the blood-stained white robe. Although the naked eye couldn't see the ghost's existence, the magic treasure should be able to sense it. Lin Feng activated the ghost-raising jar. The ghost-raising jar emitted a powerful devouring power that enveloped the blood-stained white robe. At this time, the blood-stained white robe suddenly shook in the air. A powerful force shook Lin Feng's body, sweeping directly onto Lin Feng's body. That powerful force. Lin Feng was blown away by the wind. Lin Feng felt his qi and blood churning, almost spitting out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with shock. Lin Feng didn't expect the blood-stained white robe to be so terrifying. It even hurt him. And the ghost-raising jar obviously didn't have any effect on the blood-stained white robe. This meant that the blood-stained white robe, it had nothing to do with the ghost. Otherwise, how could the ghost-raising jar not work? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The situation in front of him was too strange. It gave him a bad feeling. The charming fox immortal activated the alms bowl in her hand. Namo Amitabha. Suddenly, an ancient voice came from the alms bowl. Immediately after, the figure of an ancient Buddha appeared. That ancient Buddha was very blurry. However, even though his body looked blurry, he was still able to make out what was going on. However, one could still feel the compassionate aura emanating from him. This was an accomplished monk. Ancient Buddha Dharma? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. The Bodhidharma ancient Buddha appeared, manifesting the various worlds in the sky. It was as if a god had descended. With every step he took, a new world would appear beneath his feet. Wherever Bodhidharma passed, the darkness was dispelled, and the ghost chi also dissipated. The scene before his eyes was truly shocking. What a powerful alms bowl! It shows an illusion of Bodhidharma. I wonder if it can subdue the blood-colored white robe? Lin Feng couldn't help but look at Bodhidharma in shock. Bodhidharma walked towards the blood-red robe. His large hand reached out, grabbing at the blood-red robe. At this moment, the blood-red robe suddenly unleashed its might, fluttering in the air. When Bodhidharma approached the blood-red robe, the robe directly enveloped Bodhidharma. It wanted to envelop the blood-red robe. Seeing this, the charming fox immortal's pretty face changed slightly. She continued to activate the alms bowl in her hand. Swoosh! A light flashed. A divine light surged out of the alms bowl. The divine light entered Bodhidharma's body. Bodhidharma's body became dazzling. Chanting sounds could be heard, and a small world seemed to be formed within Bodhidharma's body. In that small world, 3,000 old monks were chanting Buddhist scriptures. Bang bang bang, Bodhidharma slapped the blood-red robe again and again, trying to destroy it completely. However, the blood-red robe was too powerful. Bodhidharma's every attack was blocked by the blood-red robe. Then, the blood-red robe directly enveloped Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma wanted to tear the robe apart, but after many attempts, he failed. Bodhidharma's strength was constantly weakening. Clearly, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long before being destroyed by the blood-red robe. Let's go, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. The blood-red robe was too terrifying. There was no way to resist it. He didn't know what it was. Lin Feng didn't have any fighting spirit left. The best thing to do was to think of a way to escape. Charming Fox Immortal naturally knew that leaving was the best thing to do. Therefore, without hesitation, she rushed towards the depths with Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the ghostly chi in the depths was rolling, blocking their way out. The blood-red robe wanted to completely trap Lin Feng and Charming Fox Immortal. We can't get out, Charming Fox Immortal said with a pale face. Don't worry, I've already thought of a way, Lin Feng said. Charming Fox Immortal's eyes lit up when she heard Lin Feng. Swoosh! With a flash, a treasure flew out. It was Lin Feng's natal treasure, the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. Illuminating the way forward in the darkness, Lin Feng muttered to himself. The Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp emitted a dense light, illuminating the way forward. The origin of this treasure was very special. Lin Feng was trapped in the mysterious dark space created by the Door of Slaughter. An ancient lamp appeared in the darkness, illuminating the way forward. Only then did he and Long Yushi escape. Lin Feng was enlightened. Therefore, he forged the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp. And now, the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp was extraordinary. Just like the mysterious ancient lamp in the dark space, it illuminated the way forward in the darkness, searching for a way out. Under the guidance of the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp, Lin Feng and Charming Fox Immortal rushed out of the ghostly chi. Lin Feng kept the Primal Chaos Ancient Lamp and left quickly with Charming Fox Immortal. The two of them rushed into the depths. After a long time, they did not see the blood-red robe. Only then did the two of them let out a sigh of relief. Lin Feng said, "Previously, I felt that something was following us. It should be that blood-red robe." Charming Fox Immortal frowned. "I don't know what that blood-red robe is. It's too strange and too terrifying," Lin Feng said. "Fortunately, we've already gotten rid of the blood-red robe. Let's go directly to the depths of the Dragon Cave and see if there's anything good. Whether or not we can get anything good, we have to leave this place quickly. This Dragon Cave is too terrifying." Charming Fox Immortal nodded in agreement. The two of them quickly rushed into the depths of the Dragon Cave. The Dragon Cave was very huge. After 2 hours, the two of them arrived at the depths of the Dragon Cave. There was a huge stone room in the depths of the Dragon Cave. Chapter 23-26. The restrictions were powerful and would not be easy to break. Lin Feng saw a few powerful figures. One of them was a young man with a cold face and a terrifying aura. Even though Lin Feng had never seen that person before, this was the first time he had seen him. He could already sense how terrifying that person was. His aura was powerful and deep, making one feel suffocated. This cultivator was young Master Dragon Sparrow, the top prodigy of this ancient race. He was an existence that looked down on everyone. Lin Feng also saw the great demonic god. He was also studying the runes on the stone door. "The grand formation is extraordinary. It seems that there might be something good in the stone room," Lin Feng said. Charming Fox said eagerly, "Let's run after we snatch the treasure." Lin Feng nodded. Although he was proficient in grand formations, he did not go forward. Those people were strong enough to break the formation, but it would take a longer time. "Zhou Tiantong is here," a loud voice rang out. Then, a green-robed man walked over, causing quite a commotion. "Who is he?" Someone who did not know Zhou Tiantong asked. "He's a genius of the Geomaster lineage. It's said that he has a heaven taboo body, which is the best physique for learning formations. When he was born, he was surrounded by countless runes. Although he's young, his attainments in formations have long surpassed many of the older generation experts of the Geomaster lineage. Heaven taboo body. Isn't that a legendary physique? Legend has it that those with the heaven taboo body can comprehend any formation with ease. No formation can stump someone with such a physique." "That's right. This is why the heaven taboo body is extraordinary. Zhou Tiantong's comprehension of formations is not something ordinary people can compare to. With him making a move, I'm sure the stone door's restrictions will be broken soon." Many people were discussing in low voices. Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows when he heard the discussions. "Heaven taboo body? Zhou Tiantong? The successor of the Geomaster lineage?" Lin Feng and the Geomaster's branch were enemies, and they would never rest until one of them was dead. He had not expected to meet the most outstanding successor of the Geomaster lineage here. Lin Feng had also heard of the Heaven Taboo physique before. It was said that when a person with this kind of constitution was born, they had already been branded with the most mysterious and ancient runes by the heavenly Tao. Therefore, their physiques were especially suitable for learning the Tao of formation runes. This kind of person's attainments in array formations were often far ahead of others. "Brother Zhou." Many of the cultivators lingering in front of the stone gate obviously knew Zhou Tiantong. When they saw Zhou Tiantong's arrival, they all saluted him. Zhou Tiantong returned the salute. Everyone stepped aside. Zhou Tiantong came before the stone door and carefully studied the array on it. "And the formation above is indeed a little special," Zhou Tiantong said. It took him about 6 hours to break the array on the stone door. Rumble. After the formation was broken, the group of people began to push open the stone door. The stone door was pushed open gradually. When the stone door was pushed open, everyone rushed into the stone room. The stone chamber was extremely large. It was pitch black inside. Buzz, suddenly. Light rose from the darkness. Then, the luster gradually expanded and turned into 3 balls of light. "There are treasures!" Many people exclaimed and then quickly flew toward the three balls of light. Roar! A high-pitched dragon's roar resounded. The three balls of light turned into three small golden dragons and let out a dragon's roar. Then, the three small golden dragons flew out as fast as lightning. Divine Dragon Tail Whip! The three small golden dragons swung their tails and whipped at the cultivators. Bang! 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 One cultivator after another was sent flying by the small golden dragons. The small golden dragons were extraordinary. They possessed terrifying power that shocked and moved people. Lin Feng saw that the great demon god and young master Long Ke were sent flying by the small golden dragons. He immediately knew that it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to subdue these small golden dragons. At the very least, it was absolutely impossible to do it with brute force. Lin Feng directly took out the heaven-devouring jar. Then, he began to activate the heaven-devouring jar. Treasures. The heaven-devouring jar could devour everything. Moreover, the heaven-devouring jar's power had increased greatly after fusing with the third part of the jar. Not to mention treasures. Even cultivators could be devoured. There was nothing that the heaven-devouring jar couldn't devour. The heaven-devouring jar locked onto a small golden dragon and began to devour it. However, the small golden dragon was unwilling to be devoured just like that. Therefore, it began to struggle violently. However, the heaven-devouring jar was really powerful. The small golden dragon's struggle was futile. In the end, the small golden dragon was devoured by the heaven-devouring jar. On the other side, the charming fox immortal took out a mysterious Qianquan bag. The Qianquan bag Dharma treasure devoured a small golden dragon. The charming fox immortal also had many powerful Dharma treasures on her. The third small golden dragon was taken into a jade bottle by a mysterious cultivator in a black robe. Go! Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice and turned to rush outside. Where do you think you're going? The great demon god, young master Long Ke, and a dozen other cultivators locked onto Lin Feng. Their eyes were filled with coldness as they began to besiege Lin Feng. The charming fox immortal and the black-robed cultivator were also besieged by a dozen other cultivators. Bang! 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 There was a series of violent collisions. Lin Feng was completely suppressed by these people. The great demon god and young master Long Ke were too strong. In a one-on-one battle, Lin Feng might not be able to defeat the two of them. Moreover, he was now being attacked by a large group of people. The charming fox immortal and the black-robed cultivator were in the same situation. Roar! Just as the situation was getting more and more dangerous, a loud roar came from outside. A huge bronze swan quickly rushed into the stone room and waved its huge claws, killing one cultivator after another. Then, the bronze swan's mouth suddenly sucked, and the flesh and soul essence of all the dead cultivators were devoured by the bronze swan. At the same time, the gloomy ghost Qi covered the sky. In an instant, the stone room was sealed. A blood-red white robe appeared. Whoosh! The blood-red white robe floated in the ghost Qi and fluttered. The blood-red white robe emitted waves of demonic and terrifying power. Any cultivator who was enveloped by the demonic power emitted by the blood-red white robe, their bodies instantly withered and turned into dried corpses. Many people who saw this scene were so frightened that their faces turned pale. Many of the experts who were besieging Lin Feng wanted to break out of the encirclement. Therefore, many people no longer continued to besiege Lin Feng. Instead, they chose to break out of the encirclement and quickly leave the stone room. Let's kill him first. Young Master Long Ke's voice was indifferent as he stepped toward Lin Feng. He did not want to let Lin Feng go just like that. You and I can kill him together, the great demon god said, and also charged toward Lin Feng. Chapter 23-27. The golden dragon wasn't a real golden dragon. It was formed by dragon Qi, and there was something mysterious inside. Young Master Long Ke and the great demonic god had already seen it, although they didn't know what was inside. However, They were very clear that the thing inside the golden dragon was definitely extraordinary. The two of them had locked onto Lin Feng for a reason. The great demonic god had locked onto Lin Feng because he had fought with Lin Feng many times. Last time, he was suppressed by Lin Feng and the charming fox immortal. Thinking about it now, he still felt quite depressed and wanted to avenge himself. As for young Master Long Ke locking onto Lin Feng, it was because he felt that Lin Feng should be the weakest among the three of them. Everyone liked to pick on the soft persimmon. Young Master Long Ke was no exception. Dragon Sparrow Claw! Young Master Long Ke attacked, condensing a giant claw with a divine ability. The claw made a grabbing motion in the air, as if it could tear the world apart. Its power was extremely strong. Young Master Long Ke's cultivation was indeed terrifying. As for the great demonic god, he swept a heaven-shaking demonic fist toward Lin Feng. A punch shattered the void. Lin Feng used his draconic elephant arm and attacked the two of them at once. However, young Master Long Ke and the great demonic god were too powerful, and they directly sent Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng felt his blood boil, and he couldn't help but cough violently a few times. You actually ganged up on me. How shameless! Lin Feng cursed. The great demonic god rolled his eyes and said, You still have the nerve to call us shameless? You even ganged up on me with that woman before. Bull*T, it was the two of us who fought against you before, okay? Lin Feng shouted. Shameless to the extreme! The great demonic god glared at Lin Feng fiercely and attacked Lin Feng again. Young Master Long Ke also attacked Lin Feng. Go to hell! Lin Feng took out hundreds of jade talismans and held them in his hand. Lin Feng was the successor of the Celestial Master's lineage. He was a top-notch spirit array master. Therefore, he had many jade talismans with powerful formations drawn on them. Once these jade talismans were used, its power would be incomparably terrifying. Lin Feng took out hundreds of jade talismans. Bang bang bang, the jade talismans exploded. F***ck, despicable, shameless. The great demonic god and young Master Long Ke both cried out in frustration. They were made of flesh and blood. So many powerful jade talismans exploded. No matter how powerful their cultivation was, they would still be injured. The two of them hurriedly retreated to avoid the terrifying destructive power of the explosion. At the same time, the two of them summoned defensive magic treasures to protect themselves. Lin Feng took advantage of this opportunity to rush outside. The charming fox immortal and the black-robed cultivator had extraordinary means. He had already rushed out. The rest of the experts also broke through the encirclement. However, the bronze swan and the blood-stained white robe were truly formidable. Most of the cultivators were killed by the bronze swan and the blood-stained white-robed man. Only a few managed to escape. Lin Feng tore through the ghost chi and rushed outside. Whoosh! Behind him, the ghost chi was eerie as the blood-stained white-robed man chased after him. This guy has his eyes on me? Lin Feng couldn't help but look at the blood-stained white-robed man chasing after him gloomily. The blood-stained white-robed man was too strange, and he didn't know what it was. Lin Feng took out hundreds of jade talismans again and threw them at the blood-stained white-robed man chasing after him. Bang bang bang, the jade talismans exploded. Next, the blood-stained white-robed man was submerged in the explosion's energy, while Lin Feng quickly flew out of the dragon cave. When he was out of the dragon cave, Lin Feng chose a direction and quickly flew in. He didn't know where the charming fox immortal had run off to. This woman had escaped earlier than Lin Feng, so Lin Feng didn't have to worry about her safety. Originally, Lin Feng thought that he had completely gotten rid of the blood-stained white-robed man, but what made him depressed was that not long after, the blood-stained white-robed man appeared once again. Big brother, did I offend you? Why are you staring at me and not letting me go? Lin Feng looked at the blood-stained white-robed man gloomily. Walala! The blood-stained white-robed man floated in the ghost chi and fluttered. No one answered Lin Feng's question. What exactly was the blood-stained white-robed man? Lin Feng still didn't understand. He originally thought that the blood-stained white-robed man was actually a piece of clothing worn by a powerful ghost after hiding its body. But now, it seemed that things weren't that simple. The blood-stained white-robed man swept out a terrifying force towards Lin Feng. He didn't kill Lin Feng. The blood-stained white-robed man seemed unwilling to give up. This made Lin Feng extremely depressed. He dodged the blood-stained white-robed man's attack in a somewhat sorry state. "Heavenly fire out!" Lin Feng shouted in a low voice and took out the 4 heavenly fires. Purple earth core fire. Black flame god burning fire. Golden dragon divine flames. Hell netherworld fire. The 4 heavenly fires quickly flew towards the blood-stained white-robed man. Since the blood-stained white-robed man was made of cloth. The cloth was either made of hemp or silk. These things belonged to the wood element. Fire restrained wood. Therefore, Lin Feng's heavenly fire restrained the blood-stained white-robed man. When the 4 heavenly fires flew over, the blood-stained white-robed man quickly dodged the attacks of the 4 heavenly fires. "Ahaha!" Lin Feng laughed with his hands on his waist. Previously, he was chased so miserably by the blood-stained white-robed man. Now, he could finally suppress the blood-stained white-robed man. "I'll burn you to death, you bastard!" Lin Feng shouted and urged the 4 heavenly fires to launch wave after wave of attacks on the blood-stained white-robed man. The blood-stained white-robed man was really powerful. He dodged the attacks of the heavenly fire time and time again. Swish, suddenly. A large amount of ghost chi gushed out. The ghost chi actually condensed into an illusory world. That illusory world. The yin chi was dense. It directly swallowed the 4 heavenly fires that Lin Feng took out. The blood-stained white-robed man tore through the void. In the next moment, he arrived in front of Lin Feng and suddenly swept towards Lin Feng. This happened in the blink of an eye. It caught Lin Feng off guard. Bang! With a dull collision sound, Lin Feng was directly sent flying by the blood-stained white-robed man. Strong as his defense, he couldn't dodge the attack of the blood-stained white-robed man. Wah! Lin Feng couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as paper. Before Lin Feng could react, the blood-stained white-robed man had already flown towards Lin Feng. The blood-stained white-robed man quickly wrapped around Lin Feng. Lin Feng wanted to use the heaven patching technique but found that the surrounding void had been completely imprisoned. The heaven patching technique couldn't be used. The ability of the blood-stained white-robed man was too terrifying. It restricted Lin Feng's heaven patching technique. Lin Feng condensed a dazzling blade light and swept towards the blood-stained white-robed man. He wanted to tear the blood-stained white-robed man. However, the blade light slashed on the blood-stained white-robed man but couldn't cause any damage to it. The blood-stained white-robed man directly wrapped Lin Feng's body. Chapter 23-28. Lin Feng sensed an incredible coldness penetrating into his body. That coldness seemed to want to pull him into endless darkness and purgatory. This feeling was really terrible. Lin Feng smelled the scent of death. Lin Feng had seen the strange ability of the blood-stained white robe before. Those things that were covered by the blood-stained white robe were all turned into dried corpses. Lin Feng did not want to become a dried corpse. He struggled violently, but Lin Feng soon realized that no matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free from the shackles of the blood-stained white robe. The scariest thing was that he could feel his strength weakening. His consciousness was also becoming more and more blurry. This feeling was really terrible. Lin Feng felt that if this continued and he could not think of a way to deal with it, only death would await him. Of course, Lin Feng was not someone who would sit and wait for death. He quickly activated the Great Karma Technique, the 3,000 Great Das. This was the top supernatural power of Buddhism. All things in the world, all methods, all things, all Das, all spirits, all races, all have karma. Karma is inseparable from karma. Karma is inseparable from karma. The cycle of karma is endless. As Lin Feng activated the Great Karma Technique, mysterious voices resounded between heaven and earth. The power of karma poured out continuously. Then, it violently bombarded the blood-stained white robe. TSK, 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 TSK. After being hit by the power of karma, the blood-stained white robe emitted a burning smell. Obviously, the power of karma had caused damage to the blood-stained white robe. As expected of the third-rank top Great Tao, the power of the Great Karma technique was beyond imagination. The blood-stained white robe flung Lin Feng away. Ghost Qi poured out and destroyed the Great Karma technique. Then, the blood-stained white robe tore through the void and left. Lin Feng let out a long breath. The blood-stained white robe was too terrifying. Although he was wary of the Great Karma technique, the power of karma had not caused much damage to the blood-stained white robe in the previous exchange. Therefore, if the blood-stained white robe wanted to kill Lin Feng at the cost of his own life, perhaps he could really do it. However, the blood-stained white robe did not choose to end up with both sides suffering losses. Lin Feng withdrew his heavenly flame and quickly left. He found a secluded cave and set up several concealment formations to conceal the cave. Lin Feng activated his immortal divine body. His injuries were recovering rapidly. When his injuries were completely healed, Lin Feng took out the little golden dragon that had been sucked into the heaven-swallowing jar. Now, the little golden dragon had turned into a ball of dragon qi. Lin Feng discovered that there were 3 things wrapped in the dragon qi. The first item was a golden dragon bone. The golden dragon bone was engraved with runes. This is an origin bone, the dragon race's origin bone. It's very likely that it records the dragon race's top divine ability, the demon lord said in surprise. The top divine ability of the dragon clan was called Dragon Language Divine Ability. Of course, draconic mystical powers were also divided into different grades. The most powerful draconic divine ability had definitely reached the level of an immortal art. It was said that there was an ancestral dragon in the past who had mastered the most terrifying dragon language divine abilities. He had once performed a skill called Samsara Oblivion, the shattered and ethereal Samsara world, burying countless foreign living beings within the Samsara world. Lin Feng's inner sight entered the dragon bone. Following that, a large amount of information flowed into Lin Feng's mind. After a while, his eyes became clear. True Dragon Seal! It's actually such a legendary divine ability. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. The True Dragon Seal was rumored to be one of the top divine abilities of the dragon race. This divine ability was created by a true dragon great emperor. As an immortal art, this divine ability's power didn't need to be explained too much. But this immortal art had a special characteristic that no other immortal art could compare to. And that was, the true dragon great emperor who had created this divine ability had not only created the true dragon seal, but he had also created the true dragon seal. He also created the powerful treasure artifact that was the true dragon seal. Because of that, when the power of the true dragon seal combined with the true dragon seal magic treasure was released together, the true dragon seal was released. The combination of the thaumaturgy and treasure artifact would unleash an unprecedented amount of power. Of course, the true dragon seal was the true dragon race's most precious treasure that had been lost for many years. It's nowhere to be found. It's very difficult to find it. The only unfortunate thing about the true dragon seal that Lin Feng obtained was that it wasn't complete. The true dragon seal was divided into 9 scrolls. These scrolls were respectively: True Dragon in the Sky Dragon roars for miles, Twin Dragon takes water, Dragon fights in the wild, Hidden Dragon doesn't use frost, descends, Dragon shakes the sun and moon, Ancestral Dragon descends, Myriad Dragons destroys the world. The 9 heavens of the True Dragon seal contain 9 different offensive moves. Every attack could be transformed into a powerful True Dragon Dharma seal. Once unleashed, the power would be enough to destroy the world. Lin Feng currently had the first 5 forms of the True Dragon seal. These 5 forms were True Dragon in the Sky, Dragon roars for miles, Twin Dragon takes water, Dragon fights in the wild, and Hidden Dragon doesn't use. But he didn't get the remaining 4 forms: Frost descends, Dragon shakes the sun and moon, Ancestral Dragon descends, and myriad dragons destroys the world. The true dragon seal had 9 forms of seals, each more powerful than the other. The first form had already reached the level of half-immortal technique. When it reached the 5th form, Hidden Dragon Doesn't Use, it had already reached the level of immortal technique. And the power of the following 4 forms was even more powerful. The most terrifying thing was that the 9 forms of the true dragon seal could be fused into one. Once fused, the power would be so powerful that it would shock people. Lin Feng's face revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression. This time, he had really obtained a heaven-defying opportunity. Taking the risk to snatch a small golden dragon, it really wasn't a risk for nothing. Lin Feng then looked at the second item. The second item was actually a sheepskin scroll, but there was nothing on this sheepskin scroll. Lin Feng checked it carefully and didn't find any clues. Something that could appear in the dragon cave was naturally a supreme treasure. The sheepskin scroll must also be such a treasure. It was just that Lin Feng hadn't discovered the secret of the sheepskin scroll yet. Lin Feng finally looked at the third treasure. This was a porcelain bottle with a seal on it. Roar! A series of dragon roars came out from the porcelain bottle. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. Could it be that there was a dragon spirit sealed in this porcelain bottle? He opened the seal on the porcelain bottle. Suddenly, a small blood-red dragon flew out. After the small blood-red dragon flew out, it actually emitted a rich medicinal fragrance. The small blood-red dragon quickly flew into the distance, wanting to escape. Dragon blood treasure pill! After seeing the small blood-red dragon, the demon lord couldn't help but exclaim. Something that could make the demon lord so shocked was naturally not simple. Lin Feng waved his hand and directly suppressed the small blood-red dragon that wanted to escape. Chapter 23-29. The blood-colored dragon was immediately suppressed by Lin Feng and turned back into a blood-colored pill. This blood-colored pill was indeed the dragon blood pill. Lin Feng carefully observed the pill. He could feel the powerful undulations coming from the pill. The astonishing undulations made Lin Feng's heart beat faster. This dragon blood pill definitely contained an unimaginable amount of essence. Demon Lord, can I directly refine this dragon blood pill to increase my strength? Lin Feng asked. Of course you can, the Demon Lord said faintly. The dragon blood pill is infused with the essence of dragon blood and contains an unimaginable special effect. After refining it, it will have a huge effect on one's cultivation. Moreover, the essence of the dragon blood contained in the pill will not only help a cultivator increase their cultivation, but it can also greatly increase the strength of a cultivator's physical body. Lin Feng said in surprise. So powerful! It seems like this dragon blood pill is really an amazing treasure. Yes, the Demon Lord nodded and said. The dragon blood pill is extraordinary and extremely rare. To be able to obtain this pill is not a small fortune. Lin Feng swallowed the dragon blood pill in one gulp. Then, he began to circulate the immemorial dragonesque elephant art to refine the pill's medicinal power. Waves of powerful energy were refined and absorbed by Lin Feng. This pure energy was completely transformed into the purest source energy, and was absorbed by Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng could feel his physical body continuously becoming stronger. Moreover, he felt that his magic power was also increasing by a large margin. The dragon blood pill was truly a treasure. While improving his physical body, while improving his magic power, 2 things at the same time without any delay. It was really too powerful. This made Lin Feng very shocked. He was also very excited. The dragon blood pill's effect had completely exceeded his expectations. Lin Feng's cultivation was currently at the 8th stage of the true God realm. On the other hand, Lin Feng's fleshly body was at the late stage of the giant God realm. The dragon blood pellet was so extraordinary. If it could help Lin Feng break through his realm and body, it could be said to be a pleasant surprise. Cultivators like Lin Feng had accumulated too much energy. Thus, it was difficult for them to make breakthroughs. However, once they made a breakthrough, their combat power would increase greatly. Therefore, after every breakthrough, Lin Feng's battle prowess would often receive an earth-shattering increase. As the energy of the dragon blood elixir was gradually absorbed by Lin Feng's body, Lin Feng felt that the magic power in his body was becoming stronger and purer. In addition to his own magic power, Lin Feng felt that his physical body was becoming more and more tyrannical. Finally, Lin Feng's body was the first to complete the transformation. From the late stage of the giant god realm, he had reached the peak of the giant god realm. He was only a step away from breaking through to the quasi-emperor realm. And Lin Feng's realm had also broken through from the 8th stage of the true god realm to the 9th stage of the true god realm. After breaking through, Lin Feng felt that his magic power had increased by leaps and bounds. "I'm even closer to the heavenly god realm!" Lin Feng's face revealed an ecstatic expression. The heavenly god realm was an extremely important realm for Lin Feng. Because once he broke through to the heavenly god realm, Lin Feng would be able to activate his supreme domineering aura. Now, Lin Feng had 2 types of domineering aura. Although the epical domineering aura could evolve, it was only a transparent domineering aura now. It was still the first stage of domineering aura. One day in the future, the epical domineering aura might surpass the supreme domineering aura. But at the current stage, it was far from being comparable to Lin Feng's supreme domineering aura. Therefore, the supreme domineering aura was too important to Lin Feng. Activating the supreme domineering aura at the crucial moment was enough to reverse the situation in a life-and-death battle. Therefore, when Lin Feng saw that he was getting closer and closer to breaking through to the heavenly god realm, he could not help but be very excited. The huge harvest this time made Lin Feng very satisfied. After he came out of seclusion, he continued to be a bandit and went around robbing others of their dragon aura. As a bandit with moral integrity, Lin Feng basically did not rob beautiful female cultivators of their dragon aura. At most, he would tease those beautiful female cultivators. The targets that Lin Feng robbed were basically those male cultivators. Lin Feng sometimes lamented that he was too kind. What was wrong with beautiful female cultivators? He should treat all of them equally, and rob them of everything. But he could not bear to do it. This was because the elite dojo would only open 3 months after the opening of the primordial ruins realm. Therefore, during these 3 months, everyone would try their best to find dragon aura in the 8 heavens. Looking for opportunities. There were also many opportunities in the 8 heavens, just like the opportunities that Lin Feng had obtained previously. Whether one could obtain the opportunity they wanted in the 8 heavens naturally depended on luck and strength. On this day, when Lin Feng passed by a valley, he found 2 groups of cultivators engaged in a great battle. One group of cultivators had lost 8 or 9 people, and there were still 7 or 8 people struggling to hold on. The other group of cultivators seemed to have more than 20 people. There were too many cases of killing and robbing because Lin Feng was also doing this. Of course, Lin Feng basically only robbed and rarely killed people, so there was still some difference between him and these cultivators. The more than 20 cultivators surrounding those cultivators were obviously extremely extraordinary and had an abnormally terrifying cultivation level because none of them had died. These people were wearing the immortal sect's attire, so they were obviously from the immortal sect. The immortal sect might be related to the immortal family, so Lin Feng would definitely have to cross paths with the immortal sect in the future. Therefore, after seeing the cultivators of the immortal sect, Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows slightly. "Brother-in-law! Help!" Suddenly, someone shouted for help, interrupting Lin Feng's train of thought. Lin Feng looked over and found that the person speaking was a cultivator with disheveled hair and blood all over his body. "Who are you? Why did you randomly call yourself brother-in-law?" Lin Feng could not help but feel speechless. The cultivator hurriedly said, "Brother-in-law, it's me, Mu Xiangna." Lin Feng was very surprised. He had not expected this guy to be Mu Xiangna. Mu Xiangna's talent was considered good in the Mu clan. He was Mu Xianling's younger brother. Back then, he had come to find trouble with him, but Du Zhu had taught him a lesson. Before the primordial ruins world opened, Lin Feng had seen Mu Xiangna from afar. However, at that time, Mu Xiang'e was dressed in white and looked handsome. On the other hand, Mu Xiang'e was now covered in blood. There was even a cut on his face, and blood kept flowing out. His face and neck were covered in blood. Moreover, this guy's hair was disheveled and covered half of his face, making him look like a bloody man. It was as if he had crawled out from a pile of corpses. He was worlds apart from the handsome young master from before. If Lin Feng did not take a closer look, he would not have believed that this wretched person in front of him was actually Mu Xiang'e. "It's you! You've got the wrong person. I'm not your brother-in-law," Lin Feng said indifferently. He could not be bothered with Mu Xiang'e's life or death. He was Mu Xianling's younger brother. He was not Mu Xianshi's younger brother, so what did it have to do with him? He was not the savior of the world, so why should he save him? Chapter 23:30. Brother-in-law. I know of a place. There must be something you want there. As long as you save me, I will tell you where it is. Mu Xiang'e shouted when he saw that Lin Feng was about to leave. Lin Feng stopped and said, "If you dare to lie to me, I will break your bones." "I would never dare to lie to you." Mu Xiang'e exhaled deeply. Lin Feng flew over and glanced at the experts of the Undying Immortal Sect. "I am now officially informing you that I am going to rob you. Hand over all your treasures." The people of the Undying Immortal Sect were stunned. Someone actually dared to rob them. Moreover, the other party was only one person. Was he looking down on them? Mu Xiang'e and the others were also dumbfounded. Mu Xiang'e asked Lin Feng for help because he thought that Lin Feng was the disciple of Lord Tortoise. He might have some powerful treasures on him. With the help of his treasures, he might be able to coordinate with them from the inside. Breaking out of the encirclement like this was highly probable. However, Mu Xiang'e did not expect Lin Feng to be so arrogant. He wanted to rob the people of the Undying Immortal Sect the moment he arrived. Mu Xiang'e could not help but smile bitterly. If they offended the members of the Immortal Celestial Sect, even if Lin Feng had incredible treasures, if the Immortal Celestial Sect didn't let them go, a bloody battle would be unavoidable. At that time, it would be extremely difficult to escape. "You really don't know the meaning of death." A triangular-eyed cultivator from the Undying Immortal Sect looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "Only my Undying Immortal Sect would rob others. How dare you rob my Undying Immortal Sect? Do you not know how to write the word death?" Lin Feng said. "Trash like you? I can beat you to the ground with one hand. If you know what's good for you, hand over your storage rings. Don't force me to make a move." Mu Xiang'e and the others almost fell to the ground. Lin Feng was simply too arrogant. He was so arrogant that they could only smile bitterly. Right now, these people from the Immortal Sect would definitely not let any of them go. Courting death. The triangular-eyed cultivator roared and leaped up. He raised his right hand and sent a palm strike towards Lin Feng. Rolling Thunder Palm. This palm strike was accompanied by the sound of rolling thunder. Waves after waves of destructive energy surged out. Just as the powerful palm was about to hit Lin Feng raised his right hand and slapped the triangular-eyed cultivator. Bang! The two sides collided and the triangular-eyed cultivator was sent flying by Lin Feng as if he had been struck by lightning. Wow! In midair, he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. His face was as pale as paper. With a thud, he fell to the ground. His body could not help but twitch violently as he breathed out more than he breathed in. It was obvious that after taking Lin Feng's powerful palm strike, the triangular-eyed cultivator had suffered serious injuries. The power of Lin Feng's attack just now was simply too powerful. "A clown dares to jump around in front of me? You're asking to be humiliated. The clown who attacked has already received the punishment he deserves. You clowns, why aren't you surrendering?" Lin Feng glanced at the group of cultivators from the Immortal Sect. Attack together. More than 20 cultivators from the Immortal Sect all shouted coldly and rushed towards Lin Feng. Boom, boom, boom. All sorts of powerful sacred arts were unleashed. They all rushed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng stepped forward and waved his hand. A river of death flew out. Bang, 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 following one violent collision after another, the sound of violent collisions rang out. More than 20 cultivators from the immortal sect were all swept away by the river of death. One by one, they fell to the ground and wailed. "This is too powerful, isn't it? No wonder he's so arrogant. If I was that powerful, I would be even more arrogant than him." A few of the surviving cultivators began to discuss. These cultivators were temporarily grouped together for a mission. Everyone looked at Mu Xiang'e enviously. With such a powerful brother-in-law protecting him, Mu Xiang'e would definitely gain a lot in the original ruins realm. Mu Xiang'e smiled bitterly in his heart. He did not expect Lin Feng to be so powerful. The cultivators from the immortal sect were so powerful, but they could not even resist Lin Feng. Mu Xiang'e felt that everyone might have underestimated Lin Feng's strength, including his sister Mu Xianling. Mu Xiang'e knew Mu Xianling too well. Mu Xianling wanted to marry a true heaven-defying monster. But obviously, Mu Xianling was extremely disdainful of Lin Feng, who had just made a name for himself. She felt that Lin Feng was not worthy of her. Mu Xiang'e had thought so too. Therefore, he went to find trouble with Lin Feng, hoping to make Lin Feng back off. But he did not expect that he would be beaten up by Du Zhu instead. Later on, Mu Xiang'e became much more well-behaved. Only now did he know that Lin Feng was so powerful. Now, Mu Xiang'e felt sorry for Mu Xianling. If he had known that Lin Feng was so powerful, wouldn't it have been better if he had agreed to the marriage back then? But now, it was all too late. Mu Xianling looked down on Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not like Mu Xianling either. Their marriage agreement had long been annulled. "You should know how powerful our immortal sect is. You dare to rob us. Do you know what the consequences are?" The triangular-eyed cultivator looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. As one of the top 10 immortal sects, the immortal sect was naturally powerful. "So what if you're from the immortal sect? The law of the original ruins realm is the survival of the fittest. Don't you even understand this?" Lin Feng looked at the triangular-eyed cultivator indifferently. The triangular-eyed cultivator naturally understood this. Anything that happened in the original ruins realm, even if one died, could only blame themselves for not being skilled enough. However, the triangular-eyed cultivator still wanted to use the power behind him to intimidate Lin Feng. Perhaps Lin Feng would let them go because he was afraid of the immortal sect's reputation? But obviously, the triangular-eyed cultivator was wrong. Lin Feng was not afraid of the triangular-eyed cultivator just because he was from the immortal sect. "We can give you our storage rings, but please don't kill us," the triangular-eyed cultivator said. Said the triangular-eyed cultivator. He just wanted to save his life from Lin Feng. Lin Feng said indifferently. "That depends on whether these people are willing to cooperate with me." "How can we cooperate with you?" The triangular-eyed cultivator looked at Lin Feng in confusion. Lin Feng said, "I'll ask you some questions. If you answer them well, I can spare your lives. If not, you can only meet the king of hell in the underworld." "What questions?" the triangular-eyed cultivator asked. "Have you heard of the immortal divine body?" Lin Feng asked. Upon hearing the words, "immortal divine body," the expressions of the immortal sect cultivators changed abruptly. Chapter 2331. It was rumored that the Undying Immortal Sect was related to the Undying Divine Body clan, but outsiders did not know if this rumor was true. However, from the changes in these people's expressions when they heard about the Undying Divine Body, it was clear that this rumor was not baseless. The triangular-eyed cultivator took a deep breath and said, "We have indeed heard of the Undying Divine Body, but why are you asking about this?" "I heard that the Undying Divine Body clan is related to the Undying Immortal Sect. I wonder if this rumor is true?" Lin Feng asked. "We don't know about this, but it is said that the founder of the Undying Immortal Sect had the Undying Divine Body. Moreover, it was a great accomplishment, Undying Divine Body, reaching the peak of the Emperor realm," the triangular-eyed cultivator said. Does the Undying Immortal Sect not have any rumors about the Undying Divine Body Clan? Lin Feng continued to ask. There are some rumors, but it is not something that ordinary disciples like us can come into contact with. I even heard that there are a few extremely heaven-defying geniuses cultivating in a secret place. Some people say that those people are related to the Undying Divine Body Clan, but I don't know if the rumors are true. Perhaps only the higher-ups of the Immortal Sect know, the triangular-eyed cultivator said. Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. It was unrealistic to want to find out about the Undying Divine Body Clan from these young cultivators. Hand over your storage ring and get the hell out of here, Lin Feng said indifferently. The group quickly handed their storage rings to Lin Feng and quickly left, not daring to stay any longer. They were worried that if they stayed any longer, they would not be able to leave even if they wanted to. After the group left, Lin Feng collected the storage rings of the dead cultivators. Then, he looked at Mu Xiang'e and the others and said, Hand over your storage rings as well. The group of people was stunned. We have to hand over our storage rings as well? What was going on? Everyone looked at each other in dismay. Didn't you hear? I told you to hand over your storage rings, Lin Feng said calmly. Everyone realized that Lin Feng wasn't joking. Then, everyone thought of the first words Lin Feng said to the cultivators of the Immortal Sect, which was to rob them. So now we're being robbed too, huh? Many people even had the thought of crying themselves to death. They looked at Mu Xiang'e. Previously, when Mu Xiang'e addressed Lin Feng as her brother-in-law, these cultivators were hoping that Mu Xiang'e would put in a few good words for him. However, Mu Xiang'e was also on the verge of tears. Because Mu Xiang'e knew. He no longer had any relationship with Lin Feng. Mu Xiang'e obediently handed the storage ring to Lin Feng. When the others saw that Mu Xiang'e had surrendered, they all cursed Mu Xiang'e for being shameless in their hearts. Just now, when Mu Xiang'e called Lin Feng brother-in-law, it turned out that she really did call him brother-in-law. The others knew how powerful Lin Feng was. Therefore, he did not dare to refuse. One by one, they obediently handed over their storage rings to Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng asked these people to leave. Mu Xiang'e stayed behind. Lin Feng said calmly, You said that there's a place that definitely has something I want. Where is that place? What is it? Mu Xiang'e quickly said. That place is filled with extremely powerful dragons. Some of the dragons are formed from dragon chi, but some of them are actually real dragons. Previously, we accidentally entered that place and many people died. This time, we came out to find more people to attack that place. If it's just that there are many dragons, this isn't useful information. If you want dragon chi, you can just rob it, Lin Feng said calmly. There's a mountain range where those dragons live. It's a Jade Leaf Mountain Range, Mu Xiang'e said. Oh? Jade Leaf Mountain Range? Lin Feng was shocked. The Jade Leaf Mountain Range could replenish magic power. It was extremely important for cultivators. For example, if two cultivators were evenly matched in a fierce battle, both of them would have exhausted their magic power and would not be able to continue fighting. However, if one of them took out the Jade Leaf Mountain Range and absorbed the energy stored in the Jade Leaf Mountain Range, his magic power would quickly recover. Wouldn't the other person die without a doubt? Another example. A cultivator was being chased and frantically tried to escape. However, his magic power was exhausted and he would probably not be able to escape. However, if he had the Jade Leaf Mountain Range, he could continuously absorb the energy of the Jade Leaf Mountain Range to replenish his magic power. Then, he would continue to run. In the end, he might drag on until the other party's magic power was exhausted and could no longer continue to chase after him. Then, he would be able to escape successfully. Therefore, the Jade Leaf Mountain Range was extremely important to cultivators in many ways. However, it was too rare. Back then, Lin Feng had obtained hundreds of Jade Leaf Mountain Range. But now they were all used up. Since then, Lin Feng had not seen any Jade Leaf Mountain Range for many years. He did not expect that a Jade Leaf Mountain Range would appear in the Primordial Ruins realm. Mu Xianga continued. This Jade Leaf Mountain Range is different from ordinary Jade Leaf Mountain ranges. What's the difference? Lin Feng looked at Mu Xianga in surprise. He did not expect Mu Xianga to have done some research on these mineral veins. It seemed that the disciples nurtured by these major factions were not simple characters. Perhaps Mu Xianga's attainments in cultivation were not at a particularly monstrous level, but he had his own areas of expertise. Mu Xianga's expertise lay in the study of various mineral veins. According to my observations, that Jade Leaf Mountain Range is likely to have produced jade leaf crystals, Mu Xianga said. What's a jade leaf crystal? Lin Feng looked at Mu Xianga in confusion. The formation of the Jade Leaf Mountain Range is rather complicated. However, to put it simply, the Jade Leaf Mountain Range is formed by absorbing a large amount of verdant wood power through various complicated processes. The verdant wood power is the wood attribute saint energy of the 5 elements. This jade leaf crystal is too precious. It would be a waste to use the jade leaf crystal to recover one's magic power. The greatest use of the jade leaf crystal is to nurture various natural treasures, Mu Xianga said. Oh? Nurture various natural treasures? What do you mean? Lin Feng asked. Mu Xianga said. The jade leaf crystal is equivalent to a type of nourishment. This nourishment can allow various natural treasures to grow rapidly. Lin Feng could not help but stroke his chin. According to Mu Xianga's words, didn't that mean that he could use the jade leaf crystal to nurture the seedling of the builder tree? The seedling of the builder tree would grow slowly. However, with the help of the jade leaf crystal, the seedling of the builder tree would definitely grow rapidly. Do those people from earlier know about the Jade Leaf Mountain Range? Lin Feng asked. Mu Xianga said. I didn't tell them earlier. Lin Feng nodded. Then, he soared into the sky with Mu Xianga and quickly flew in the direction of the Jade Leaf Mountain Range. Chapter 2332. Lin Gongzi, after passing through this foggy area, you'll reach the Jadeite Mountain Range. Mu Xianga pointed to a foggy area in the depths. Lin Feng had nothing to do with this guy, so he naturally wouldn't let him call him brother-in-law. Thus, this guy called Lin Feng, Lin Gongzi. Lin Feng said, All right, I'll send you off here. You can leave now. Mu Xianga didn't stay and quickly left. He stood in the distance and watched Lin Feng enter the foggy area. He couldn't help but mutter, Demon! He's simply a demon! Then, he couldn't help but sigh. Although he hadn't interacted much with Lin Feng, Mu Xianga instinctively felt that the strength that Lin Feng had displayed before was very likely just the tip of the iceberg. And back then, his sister Mu Xianling had looked down on Lin Feng. She had even broken off relations with Lin Feng. Their engagement had been broken because of this. This was very likely the worst thing that his sister Mu Xianling had ever done. But what was done couldn't be undone. There was no way to change it. Lin Feng didn't know what Mu Xianga was thinking, and he didn't care about what Mu Xianga was thinking. He walked towards the depths. He was very careful along the way. The surroundings were very quiet. There was no sound at all. Lin Feng discovered that there were many naturally formed great formations in this place. Many of the great formations were incomparably exquisite and also incomparably dangerous. Once one fell into one of these great formations, it would be extremely bad. These great formations might be quite troublesome for other cultivators, but to Lin Feng, they didn't pose any threat. He shuttled through the great formations. Soon, he passed through the foggy area. After coming out, Lin Feng saw many giant dragons flying in the air from afar. There were green dragons, golden dragons, winged dragons, and so on. These giant dragons belonged to the Western Dragon clan. There were also azure dragons, sky dragons, glass dragons, and so on. These giant dragons belonged to the Eastern Dragon clan. These giant dragons were basically formed from dragon chi, but Lin Feng discovered that there were more than 10 giant dragons that were actually made of flesh and blood. These giant dragons looked rather strange. They had the slender bodies of the Eastern Dragon clan, but they also had a pair of huge wings. The wings of these dragons were different from the wings of the Western Dragon clan. The Western Dragon clan's wings were very huge, but they were not covered by feathers. But the wings of the giant dragon in front of him. This was the biggest difference between the two clans. Could this be the winged dragon? Lin Feng couldn't help but mumble. The winged dragon clan. There were many legends of the winged dragon. Eastern classic of the great wilderness, Yinglong was at the South Pole. He killed Qiyu and Qua Fu and could not return. Therefore, there have been several droughts, and the droughts have taken the form of a dragon, and thus, a heavy rain. The classic of mountains and seas, northern classic of the great wilderness. Yinglong has killed Qiyu and Qua Fu, so he went to the south. Therefore, there is a lot of rain there. Chu Ci, Heaven's Inquiry. Yinglong of the rivers and seas, what is this painting? Where the Yu River resides? Huainanzi. Winged dragon gives birth to winged dragon. Winged dragon gives birth to Jianma. Jianma gives birth to Qilin. These were all legends of the winged dragon. The winged dragon was a very powerful dragon clan. Their history was even longer than the divine dragons and the sky dragons. There was a saying that the first ancestral dragon born in the world was the true dragon. The second ancestral dragon born in the world was the winged dragon. Lin Feng wasn't sure if this legend was true. But the winged dragon in all kinds of legends was the incarnation of a powerful dragon. The auras of the winged dragons in front of him were also very powerful. However, compared to the winged dragons in the legends, the strength of the winged dragons in front of him was undoubtedly much weaker. It wasn't that these winged dragons weren't powerful enough. The main reason for this difference was that as time passed, the bloodline of these winged dragons was far from the purity of their ancestors' bloodline. This was the case with bloodline inheritance. Generation after generation, the bloodline would become thinner and thinner. Unless there was a phenomenon of atavism or some fortuitous encounter that caused the bloodline to become stronger. Or else, it was very difficult to make the already thin bloodline become stronger. There were so many dragons guarding the Emerald Leaf Mountain Range. If he wanted to take the Emerald Leaf Mountain Range, he had to first defeat these dragons. Lin Feng took out the pseudo-emperor puppet. Then he rushed out and killed those dragons together with the pseudo-emperor puppet. Roar! Many dragons let out earth-shaking roars when they saw Lin Feng and the pseudo-emperor puppet. Then they pounced towards the two of them. These dragons were very powerful, but Lin Feng and the pseudo-emperor puppet's cultivation were even more terrifying. Bang bang bang, both sides engaged in a fierce battle. One by one, the dragons were killed and turned into dragon energy, which was then collected by Lin Feng. Roar! A high-pitched dragon roar resounded. Winged dragons bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they flew over. The strength of these winged dragons was much more powerful than those dragons formed from dragon energy. Good, there are so many winged dragons. I'll convert them all and put them in the mountain river ring. In the future, I can form an army of beasts. Seeing those winged dragons flying over, Lin Feng couldn't help but let out a long roar and flew out. Then, all kinds of powerful divine abilities were displayed, and waves of destructive energy waves shook the void. Lin Feng fought with a group of winged dragons. The pseudo-emperor puppet fought with those dragons formed from dragon energy. The division of labor between the two sides was clear. Lin Feng displayed heaven-defying strength. Especially the true dragon seal that he had just learned. Although Lin Feng had only learned the first move of the true dragon seal. But as the most noble existence of the dragon race, the true dragon seal created by the true dragon seal had a suppressive effect on all dragons. The winged dragons were no exception. They were firmly suppressed by Lin Feng's true dragon seal. At the same time, Lin Feng used the great purification technique. He slapped the huge heads of the winged dragons one after another. A powerful purification power poured into the minds of these winged dragons. Suddenly, one by one, the winged dragons were purified by Lin Feng. It didn't take long for more than a dozen winged dragons to be purified by Lin Feng. After purifying these winged dragons, Lin Feng was in a good mood. He waved his hand. One by one, the winged dragons were directly put into the mountain river ring by Lin Feng. And Lin Feng helped the pseudo-emperor puppet continue to kill those dragons formed from dragon energy. Hundreds of dragons formed from dragon energy were all killed in the end and turned into balls of dragon energy. All of them were sealed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng put away the pseudo-emperor puppet. He floated in the air and looked at a mineral vein not far away. That mineral vein was emitting a shocking fluctuation. It was the emerald leaf mineral vein that Mu Xiang'a mentioned. Chapter 2333. Give me a monstrous amount of magic power was released, directly enveloping the entire jade leaf stone vein. Lin Feng wanted to directly put the jade leaf stone vein into the mountain river ring, but to his surprise, such a powerful magic power was actually unable to move the jade leaf stone vein. This jade leaf stone vein was very strange. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. It seems that this jade leaf stone vein is very likely to be fixed by a restriction. After observing for a while, he couldn't help but come to a conclusion. Of course, there could also be other reasons for this strange situation. However, Lin Feng needed to investigate carefully before he could come to a conclusion. He landed in the jade leaf stone vein, sensing the aura of the jade leaf stone vein. There's something wrong below. Soon, Lin Feng found something suspicious. He quickly sneaked underground. The ground split open, taking the initiative to open a path for Lin Feng. Lin Feng discovered that the jade leaf stone vein's underground area was very large. The surface area was about 3 to 4 kilometers. However, the underground area covered a full 50 to 60 kilometers. Such a large area contained an unknown amount of jade leaf stones. Although the amount of jade leaf crystal was extremely rare in the jade leaf stone vein, this jade leaf stone vein was so huge. Presumably the amount of jade leaf crystal would be much more than imagined. Lin Feng discovered a huge tomb deep in the jade leaf stone vein. This tomb was enveloped by a huge 8 trigrams formation. And this huge mound was connected to the emerald leaf stone mine. The reason why Lin Feng couldn't obtain the jade leaf stone vein before was probably related to this huge tomb. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at the tomb. He couldn't help but ponder slightly. A tomb was a strange place. Cultivators generally had 3 purposes for creating tombs. The first was to use it as a burial ground. This type of tomb was relatively common. Burial grounds were suitable to be built in places with dense qi. It was said that it could benefit one's descendants. This was what was recorded in the feng shui theory. Lin Feng had heard Taoist Wu Liang mention this before. The second was to use it as a place to temper weapons. The mound gathered the qi from all directions. Such a place was extremely suitable for refining all kinds of magic treasures. Of course, most of the magic treasures refined in the mound were dark attribute magic treasures. For example, some evil demonic weapons. The third was a place for refining corpses. Some evil sects like to refine all kinds of devil corpses. For example, the corpse-controlling sect liked to refine all kinds of zombies. The mound was undoubtedly the best place to refine corpses. Lin Feng had no idea what was going on with this mound, but he had a feeling that this mound was connected to the emerald leaf stone mine. He must be planning something big. Lin Feng planned to break the seal of the 8 trigrams formation and enter the mound to see what was going on. For Lin Feng, breaking the array wasn't difficult at all. It took more than 2 hours. Lin Feng tore apart the formation. He entered the mound. Inside the mound, it was dark and gloomy. Lin Feng was constantly on guard against his surroundings. This place could be dangerous at any time, so he had to be careful. When he was outside, be careful. Especially in such a place, he had to be extra careful. Otherwise, he might die without a burial place. Swish. Suddenly, without a sound, a figure appeared behind Lin Feng, exuding an extremely cold aura, making people suffocate. Sharp claws suddenly surged in the darkness, piercing towards Lin Feng from behind. Lin Feng's perception was very strong. He instantly sensed the terrifying aura behind him. He had been on guard against his surroundings, so after sensing the terrifying aura behind him, he reacted immediately. Lin Feng's body moved to the left. He instantly dodged the terrifying attack. At this moment, he clearly saw what had ambushed him. It was a green-haired zombie king. The green-haired zombie king stared at Lin Feng with a pair of blood-red eyes, revealing an extremely cold light. "Disturbing my slumber, human! Die!" The green-haired zombie king let out a sinister voice, and then shot out, once again pouncing towards Lin Feng. His claws actually began to grow longer. Originally, the green-haired zombie king's claws were only a dozen centimeters long. But in the blink of an eye, they became more than half a meter long. They were extremely hard, just like the sharpest magic treasure. Moreover, a terrifying creature like the green-haired zombie king's body contained a highly toxic poison. If one was scratched by this creature, they would definitely be poisoned. Swish! A light flashed in Lin Feng's hand, and the wolf-tooth mace flew out and was held in his hand. "I'll smash you to death, you big zombie!" Lin Feng roared, jumped up, and used the wolf-tooth mace, directly smashing towards the big zombie. Clang! 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 One after another, violent loud sounds rang out. Deafening. The two sides collided. The green-haired zombie king was extremely powerful. Lin Feng was actually unable to suppress him with the wolf-tooth mace in his hand. "Have a taste of my Buddhist secret art!" Lin Feng couldn't help but snort coldly, and began to display the supreme art of Great Karma technique. Boom! Once the Great Karma technique was used, who could compete against it? The power of this third-ranked Great Tao of the 3,000 Great Tao was too powerful. The most important thing was that this 3,000 Great Tao restrained evil beings. Originally, the green-haired zombie king and Lin Feng were evenly matched. But now, facing Lin Feng's attack, the green-haired zombie king was unable to hold on any longer. The power of karma bombarded the green-haired zombie king's body, and the green-haired zombie king was sent flying again and again. Roar! The green-haired zombie king let out an angry roar, and wanted to come over and kill Lin Feng several times, but was repelled by the power of karma. All living things? Mutually reinforcing and mutually restraining. That was the logic. The green-haired zombie king was firmly restrained by Lin Feng's sacred art, and his defeat was set. Lin Feng began to summon the gate of karma to suppress the green-haired zombie king. If he could suppress the green-haired zombie king, Lin Feng was confident that he would be able to purify the green-haired zombie king. Once he purified the green-haired zombie king, he would immediately have another terrifying guard by his side. "Human, I will spare you for now. Once I cultivate the indestructible body of 10,000 evils, I will no longer be afraid of the Buddhist sacred art. At that time, it will be the time of your death." The green-haired zombie king let out a sinister voice. Then, he tore apart the power of karma that was sealing the Yin Mound. Then, he quickly escaped. "Consider yourself lucky," Lin Feng snorted, and began to size up the Yin Mound. Chapter 2334. In the darkness, a ball of cold light attracted Lin Feng's attention. He quickly walked over and picked up the black object. It was a fist-sized stone, but it was extremely heavy. Although it was small, Lin Feng felt that it weighed at least 5 million kilograms. Most importantly, the stone was covered in runes and stained with ancient blood. "This stone is so strange." Lin Feng looked at the mysterious stone in shock. When he saw it, he could sense that it was extraordinary. He tried to invade the stone with his spirit sense, but his spirit sense was blocked by the mysterious stone. "Can I use a drop of blood to refine it?" Lin Feng muttered. Just as he was about to use a drop of blood to refine the stone, swoosh. Suddenly, the stone broke free from Lin Feng's hand and smashed toward Lin Feng. Bang! Caught off guard, Lin Feng was sent flying by the strange stone. Ouch! Lin Feng screamed and fell to the ground. He felt that all the magic power in his body was about to scatter. That stone was very strange. It had a very strong suppressive effect on a cultivator's magic power. It seemed to be able to scatter a cultivator's magic power. Lin Feng's magic power was so vast and condensed. Just one hit from that strange stone was enough to scatter his magic power. It was clear how terrifying that stone was. He tried to circulate the magic power in his body, but to his horror, he found that he could not circulate the magic power in his body. Although the strange stone did not scatter Lin Feng's magic power, it used some unknown method to seal his magic power, making it difficult for him to circulate his magic power. "I'll kill you! I'll eat your bloodline!" The stone suddenly let out a sharp cry and charged toward Lin Feng again. "Damn, I've seen a ghost! The stone can actually talk!" Lin Feng stared at the strange stone, dumbfounded. He did not know what the stone was, but it was so terrifying. The energy waves it emitted were suffocating. It was the same as the previous time. This time, the strange stone wanted to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng swung his mace with both hands and smashed it toward the strange stone. Clang! A loud sound was heard. The stone was sent flying by Lin Feng. "Wah! Eat, eat, eat! I'm going to eat your treasure!" The rock cried out, and a big mouth opened on top of the rock. The big mouth bit down on the Wolverine mace. Crack! The big mouth bit down on the mace. "Ouch, it's so hard, it's hurting my teeth!" That strange rock couldn't help but yell. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. What the hell was that guy? Lin Feng swung his Dracophon arm and sent the stone. "Damn, what broken stone! How can it be so?" Lin Feng frowned as he looked at the stone. The stone was indeed too strange. Lin Feng felt that it would be troublesome to deal with. "Brat, you dare call me a broken stone? Do you know that you've committed a crime? Let me tell you, you've committed a heinous crime!" The strange stone shouted angrily. It sounded as if it wanted to chop Lin Feng into pieces. Lin Feng was speechless. "What crime have I committed? You're blaspheming a great existence!" The strange stone shouted. Lin Feng muttered, "Don't tell me that great existence you're talking about is yourself?" The strange stone said proudly, "When a person is too outstanding, they can't hide their brilliance no matter where they go. That's right, that great existence is myself." The stone was really shameless. It was actually boasting about itself. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, "I really can't see how you're great. Could it be that you have some powerful background?" The stone said, "If I tell you my background, you'll be scared to death." "What's your background? Tell me, I'd like to see if I'll be scared to death by you," Lin Feng said. The stone sneered at Lin Feng and said, "Ain't nobody like you wants to know my background? Dream on! I'm going to eat you and your treasures!" The stone pounced at Lin Feng again. Lin Feng waved his Wolverine mace and smashed it again and again. Clang! 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 Lin Feng struck the strange stone again and sent it flying away. However, the mace couldn't harm the stone at all. If this continued, Lin Feng would definitely be the first to give up. This was going to be troublesome. At that moment, the Demon Lord suddenly said, "I know what this thing is." Hearing the Demon Lord's words, Lin Feng was shocked. He asked, "What the hell is this thing?" "A heaven-splitting stone," the Demon Lord said. "A heaven-splitting stone? What the hell is that?" Lin Feng asked in confusion. This was the first time he'd heard of a heaven-splitting stone. "It's a stone formed when heaven and earth were first created. There are many types of heaven-splitting stones, such as immortal stones, demonic stones, divine stones, and so on. However, it's said that heaven-splitting stones are too heaven-defying, so they were destroyed by innate lifeforms during the absolute beginning era," the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng was shocked. Was a heaven-splitting stone that terrifying? Even innate lifeforms were afraid of it? If that wasn't the case, innate lifeforms wouldn't have destroyed heaven-splitting stones. The Demon Lord continued, "This heaven-splitting stone was probably one that was lucky enough not to be destroyed. In all the heavens, there are probably very few heaven-splitting stones left. Lin Feng asked. What's the use of this heaven-splitting stone? It's said that it can be used to forge the most powerful treasures. In the past, innate lifeforms destroyed heaven-splitting stones, smelted them, and forged them into powerful treasures with terrifying power, the Demon Lord said. It seems that innate lifeforms destroyed heaven-splitting stones because of greed. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. The Demon Lord said. Wherever there are people, there will be conflicts of interest. This is unavoidable. Apart from forging treasures, what other uses does a heaven-splitting stone have? Lin Feng asked. Yao Jun said. The sky-splitting stone is very strange. It has many shocking abilities, but different sky-splitting stones have different abilities. For example, the sky-splitting stone in front of us can disperse other people's FALI, but it probably has some other unimaginable abilities. How should I deal with this heaven-splitting stone? Lin Feng asked. Use heavenly fire to burn it. The heaven-splitting stone is of the metal element, so heavenly fire can restrain it, the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng had used his godly awareness to talk to the Beast Lord. Even though it was a long conversation, it happened in the blink of an eye. Chapter 23:35. Heavenly Fire! Come out! When the sky-splitting stone smashed down again, Lin Feng directly took out the heavenly fire. The heavenly fire burned fiercely. It enveloped the sky-splitting stone. Oh my God! It's burning me to death! It's burning me to death! You little bastard, how dare you use the heavenly fire to burn me? Do you believe that I won't swallow your heavenly fire? The sky-splitting stone screamed miserably as it was burned. It was simply laughable. Facing the burning of the heavenly fire, the sky-splitting stone had no way to resist. All things were divided into 5 elements. The 5 elements reinforced and restrained each other. If it was just an ordinary flame burning the sky-splitting stone, the sky-splitting stone might be fine. However, it was the heavenly fire that burned the sky-splitting stone. The flame's supremacy had managed to restrain the heaven-splitting stone. Lin Feng cursed. Grandson, who are you calling a bastard? I'll burn you to death! Lin Feng continued to use the heavenly fire to burn the sky-splitting stone. Hoo, the fire grew stronger and stronger. The sky-splitting stone was burning until it emitted green smoke. You're burning me to death! You're burning me to death! Quickly stop, or I won't let you off! The sky-splitting stone roared. It kept struggling and resisting, but it was useless. No matter how the sky-splitting stone struggled and resisted, it was unable to resist. It could not resist the might of the heavenly fire. Sky-splitting stone, it seems that your level is not that great, Lin Feng said proudly. You know my identity? The sky-splitting stone immediately shouted with a haughty look. Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said, You're already burned to such a state, yet you still dare to act cool in front of this young master? The might of the heavenly fire grew stronger and stronger. The sky-splitting stone had already turned from black to fiery red. It opened its mouth. It kept panting heavily. I'm going to die. Save me, who can save me? The sky-splitting stone wailed. Whoosh! Suddenly, the sky-splitting stone turned into a fiery red stream of light and quickly charged toward Lin Feng. Then, it fiercely slammed into Lin Feng. Lin Feng had long been on guard against the heaven-splitting stone. Seeing this guy rushing over, Lin Feng directly used the Vajra mace to smash the heaven-splitting stone away. Damned brat, consider it my loss, said the sky-splitting stone ferociously. Then, it tore open the void and left quickly. Lin Feng's heavenly fire couldn't be too far away from him, so it flew back of its own accord. Lin Feng didn't chase after the heaven-splitting stone either, although the heavenly fire restrained the heaven-splitting stone. However, if he wanted to suppress the heaven-splitting stone, this was not an easy task. It would be great if I could convert this guy, Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. The heaven-splitting stone was a treasure that everyone coveted. If it smashed into someone's body, it could disperse the opponent's magic power. If the heaven-splitting stone were to give the opponent such a blow during a great battle, it would scatter the opponent's magic power. Was there any suspense left in this battle? Unfortunately, it was truly difficult to subdue the heaven-splitting stone. Lin Feng began to regulate his body in the Yin Mound. Previously, when he was smashed by the heaven-splitting stone, although his magic power was barely not scattered, he couldn't circulate it. This was no different from having his magic power scattered. Therefore, Lin Feng needed to spend a certain amount of time to recover his magic power. 6 hours later, Lin Feng's magic power finally returned to normal, which made him let out a long sigh of relief. The feeling of not being able to circulate his magic power was too terrible. If it was possible, Lin Feng didn't want to experience that terrible feeling again. After Lin Feng left the Yin Mound, he completely destroyed the 8 trigrams formation. Then, he flew out and put the entire Jade Leaf Stone mine into his mountain river ring. Lin Feng planned to wait until he got out of the original ruins realm before thinking about excavating the Jade Leaf Stone mine. For a period of time after that, Lin Feng spent his time searching for treasures and raiding houses. During this period of time, he snatched a lot of dragon chi. When all the dragon chi was added together, there was a total of more than 50,000 strands. Time passed by quickly. 3 months flew by. The teleportation array between the 8 heavens and the prodigy training grounds was about to open. A loud rumbling sound resounded between heaven and earth. Everyone saw 8 huge teleportation arrays appear in 8 different directions of the original ruins realm. A teleportation array appeared in every place in the 8 heavens. Cultivators in the 8 heavens could now head to the teleportation array and enter the prodigy training grounds through it. Cultivators who didn't need the dragon chi needed to leave the 8 heavens at this time. It was said that if one stayed in the 8 heavens without permission, they would be killed by the laws of the 8 heavens. Therefore, it was extremely irrational to stay in the 8 heavens at this time. The 8 heavens were 8 independent spaces. Therefore, cultivators in the 8 heavens could only head to the corresponding teleportation array. Lin Feng also flew quickly toward the teleportation array in the area where he was. When he arrived, Lin Feng found that the teleportation array was controlled by someone. A large number of cultivators had been intercepted. There were about 700 to 800 cultivators guarding the array, forbidding everyone from going over. Their actions caused public outrage. Therefore, many people joined forces to attack the defensive line formed by the cultivators. However, they failed several times. Those people were too strong and couldn't resist at all. The Exalted Immortal Sect, the Undying Immortal Sect, the Ascension Immortal Sect, the Sword Saint Immortal Sect, the Heavenly Tao Immortal Sect, the 5 major immortal sects, the Kinwu people, the Skeleton Tribe, the Sky Eye Tribe, and other factions. There are also 7 or 8 ancient aristocratic families, all of whom are experts from the top factions. The defensive line formed by these experts naturally can't resist. Someone lamented. Everyone! We only want money and don't want to kill. Hand over half of your dragon chi and we'll let everyone pass. A young man in an imperial robe said. Huangfu Qi! He's from the Ascension Immortal Sect. Someone recognized the young man's identity. The Ascension Immortal Sect was too powerful. It was one of the 10 major immortal sects with a long history and a strong foundation. It was also said that this faction could communicate with exalted immortals. No one was willing to provoke such a faction. You want half of our dragon chi? Aren't you going overboard? Do you want to become enemies with all the cultivators in the world? A cultivator said coldly with a gloomy expression. Naturally, they were unwilling to hand over half of their dragon chi. Many people also began to shout. It could be said that the crowd was furious. However, the people from the major factions looked at them with cold expressions. Either you hand over your dragon chi and enter the prodigy training hall, or wait here until the teleportation array disappears and you leave the primordial ruins realm. A holy son of the Taishang Immortal Sect said coldly. Many people's expressions were gloomy as they weighed the pros and cons. This is robbery. Hand over all your treasures. Chapter 23:36. Who is this? How dare he be so arrogant? Is he tired of living? Is this brat crazy? He actually dares to rob the cultivators of the supreme immortal sect and other forces. He's simply courting death. He's simply courting death. Madman, he must be a madman. Seeing Lin Feng jump out to rob the cultivators of the supreme immortal sect and other forces, everyone felt as if their heads were about to explode. There were more than 700 cultivators from the supreme immortal sect and other forces, and each of them was very powerful. Previously, when everyone had joined forces to attack their defensive line, they had suffered heavy losses. But now, Lin Feng had jumped out to rob them by himself. If this wasn't courting death, then what was? The 700 people from the supreme immortal sect and other forces were also completely stunned. Then, the corners of their mouths twitched violently. This brat jumped out to rob them alone. Could it be that he looked down on so many of them? The cultivators of the supreme immortal sect did not think that Lin Feng was a madman. F***CK, what are you still standing there for? Hand over all your storage rings. Otherwise, do you believe that I won't beat you into a pig's head? Lin Feng shook his fist and said fiercely. Damn, this brat is serious. From the looks of it, he really wants to rob the people of the supreme immortal sect. Where did this guy come from? He's actually in such a hurry to throw away his life? Many people began to mutter. No one knew Lin Feng. This guy seems to be Lord Tortoise's disciple. Suddenly, someone exclaimed and recognized Lin Feng's identity. The rumored #1 scum of the 9 provinces, Lord Tortoise? That's right, it's that Lord Tortoise. Several of Lord Tortoise's disciples are dead. It's said that he took in a disciple a few years ago called Lin Feng. Could it be this person? Yes, it's this guy. I saw this guy in the Dragonfire province before. Does this guy think that just because he's Lord Tortoise's disciple, he can jump out and rob people from the supreme immortal sect and other forces? Lord Tortoise's reputation is probably not that useful, right? Who knows what he's thinking? The surrounding people started to discuss. They didn't understand why Lin Feng would jump out at this time. In their opinion, jumping out at this time was too abnormal. Lin Feng? Lin Feng from the Reincarnation Immortal Sect? One of the holy sons from the Supreme Immortal Sect looked coldly at Lin Feng. The saint who spoke was called Tang Senator. This person was slender and very handsome. He was very prestigious among the younger generation of the Supreme Immortal Sect. He was a top genius who had risen in the past 200 to 300 years. The grudge between Lin Feng and the Supreme Immortal Sect had been going on for a long time. The Supreme Immortal Sect had even spent a lot of money to find assassins to kill Lin Feng, but they had never succeeded. The experts of the younger generation of the Supreme Immortal Sect naturally also wanted to kill Lin Feng. If he could kill Lin Feng, he would be able to gain a lot of attention within the sect. Moreover, killing Lin Feng would give them a huge reward. That's right. I am Lin Feng, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng said arrogantly. Many cultivators nearly fell to the ground when they saw how arrogant Lin Feng was. Wasn't this guy a little too arrogant? Don't they know what kind of people they're facing? Humph. So you're Lin Feng. Just nice, I'll capture you and hand you over to the Grand Elder. Huangfu Chief from the Ascension Immortal Sect looked coldly at Lin Feng. The Grand Elder he was referring to was Huangfu Qingtian's mother. Huangfu Qingtian's mother used to be the saintess of the Ascension Immortal Sect. However, she had now become the Grand Elder of the Ascension Immortal Sect. Moreover, she was the #1 Grand Elder in the Ascension Immortal Sect. She was extremely important in the Ascension Immortal Sect. Naturally, the grudge between Lin Feng and the Ascension Immortal Sect could not be resolved with just a few words. I think it's better for the Supreme Immortal Sect to suppress this brat. Bring him back to the sect and let the elders deal with him, Tang Sen said indifferently. The Supreme Immortal Sect and the Ascension Immortal Sect had fought with Lin Feng before. They knew that Lin Feng had many powerful divine abilities, Dharma treasures, and Lin Feng possessed a shocking amount of wealth. Therefore, these people coveted Lin Feng's treasures and wanted to capture Lin Feng. Lin Feng shouted. I can deal with a bunch of small fries like you with just a flick of my finger. If you want to fight, then come at me together. Why are you still chattering?" The people from the Supreme Immortal Sect and the other top forces were filled with killing intent. How dare Lin Feng look down on them? How dare he humiliate them? They wanted nothing more than to cut Lin Feng into pieces. As for the cultivators who were stopped from entering the Tianjiadao field, they could only smile bitterly. Naturally, they had seen those arrogant people before. In the world of cultivators, there was no lack of such people. However, this was the first time they had seen a cultivator as arrogant as Lin Feng. "You're courting death!" Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi shouted angrily and shot out towards Lin Feng. "Two pieces of trash dare to make a move against me? You really don't know what's good for you. I only need one punch to get rid of trash like you easily," Lin Feng said with disdain. "Brag. Keep bragging." Many people rolled their eyes, obviously thinking that Lin Feng was bragging. Tang Xin, Huang Fuqi. Both of them were at the third layer of the giant god realm. They were definitely considered top experts among the younger generation. What about Lin Feng? This was the first time many people had heard of this name. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Feng's master was the famous Master Tortoise, who would care about who it was? "Kid, you're too arrogant." Tang Sen's eyes were gloomy. "Have you thought about the scene of you being trampled under our feet later? I really want to see you kneeling in front of us like a dog, wagging your tail and begging us to let you go." Huang Fuqi also sneered. The two of them were very confident in themselves, not to mention that they were attacking together. Could it be that they couldn't deal with Lin Feng? Huang Fuqi used the Feather Immortal Fist divine ability. Tang Sen, on the other hand, had used the 10,000 kills annihilation palm. Everyone's gaze shifted to the three of them. The cultivators of the Supreme Immortal Sect, Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, and other forces watched this scene coldly. In their opinion, there was no suspense in this battle. Those who were blocked and couldn't enter the Tianjiadao field looked at Lin Feng with pity. In their opinion, Lin Feng was also in a situation where he would definitely die. But then, everyone revealed a look of disbelief. Because they saw Lin Feng strike out with his palm across the void. An energy palm print descended from the sky. It rushed towards the two experts, Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi. The two sides collided. Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi, the two experts, didn't even have the strength to resist under Lin Feng's attack. They were defeated. Plop! Plop! The two of them fell to the ground. Then, they each spat out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 2337. This. Everyone cried out in disbelief, unable to believe what they were seeing with their own eyes. Tang Xin, Huang Fuqi. These two were at the third layer of the giant god realm. In the eyes of many people, this realm was a high and mighty existence. It was like a towering mountain peak. It was enough to make many people unable to breathe. However, it was precisely these two powerful experts that appeared so weak in front of Lin Feng. It made everyone feel as if they were in a dream. However, everyone knew that everything they saw was real. Just now, Lin Feng had indeed defeated the two experts in one move. The word crush was not enough to describe the huge gap between the two sides. Now, everyone finally knew why Lin Feng was so arrogant. It was because Lin Feng was simply too powerful, such terrifying strength. Wasn't it normal to be arrogant? If he had such powerful strength, who knew how arrogant he would be? Many people couldn't help but become excited. Lin Feng was so powerful, but now, he was facing off against the Supreme Immortal Sect and many other forces. These cultivators who were blocked from entering the Heaven's Chosen's training grounds suddenly had a backbone. Even if Lin Feng wasn't a match for these cultivators who were blocking everyone from entering the Heaven's Chosen's training grounds. However, there were so many cultivators gathered here. When the time came, with Lin Feng as the leader, they would join forces. If they really fought, it would be hard to say who would win and who would lose. Lin Feng didn't know what the surrounding cultivators were thinking. After defeating Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi, he looked at the two of them with a smile and said, Now you know the huge gap between us. Calling you cats and dogs is already praising you. You're simply a bunch of ants. Arrogant. Lin Feng's words were simply too arrogant. However, when everyone heard Lin Feng's words, they felt that these words coming from Lin Feng's mouth were only natural. This was because they had witnessed Lin Feng's powerful strength. When one's strength was strong enough, naturally, he could say whatever he wanted. So what if he wasn't convinced? Without sufficient strength, no matter how indignant they were, they could only hold it in. We'll fight it out with you. Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi got up from the ground and rushed toward Lin Feng. Both of them were top-notch geniuses. They were usually high and mighty figures. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? Naturally, he could not bear this humiliation. One by one, they roared and charged towards Lin Feng, looking as if they wanted to perish together with Lin Feng. Since you want to die, I don't mind killing you. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he slashed out a sword qi. In the blink of an eye, Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi's divine ability was destroyed. Puff! Puff! Then 2 ripping sounds were heard. Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi's bodies were directly cut in half by Lin Feng. Lin Feng had always been a decisive person. Moreover, Tang Xin and Huang Fuqi were from the Supreme Celestial Sect and the Ascendant Celestial Sect respectively. He and these 2 forces were like fire and water. So what if he killed their people? Their hatred was already formed anyway. Lin Feng did not care about adding more hatred. Let's attack together. There are so many of us. Even if this brat has 3 heads and 6 arms, he'll still die. The cultivators from the Supreme Celestial Sect, the Ascendant Celestial Sect, the Qinhua people, and the other forces shouted. Then, more than 700 people attacked Lin Feng. A bunch of trash. I can suppress all of you with a raise of my hand. Lin Feng could not help but snort coldly. He immediately unleashed his epic dominance to shroud these people. Everyone was enveloped by Lin Feng's epic dominance. Epic dominance was a group attack. Once it was unleashed, its power was boundless. Now that Lin Feng had unleashed his epic dominance, these cultivators were no match for it. Thud! 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 The cultivators knelt on the ground one after another. They could not move their bodies at all. In the blink of an eye, more than 700 powerful cultivators from various forces were all kneeling on the ground. Oh my God, am I seeing things? The cultivators who were blocked from entering the Chosen One dojo all shouted in disbelief. The scene in front of them was too shocking. Those were more than 700 top experts, and they were all kneeling on the ground just like that. That guy was too powerful, wasn't he? Could it be that he could already compete with a peak giant god or even a half-step emperor? At the thought of this, many people were shocked. Originally, no one had considered Lin Feng in the Chosen One dojo contest. Now that they saw Lin Feng's might, they could not help but wonder. With such terrifying strength, what kind of ranking would Lin Feng achieve in the Chosen One dojo contest? After Lin Feng suppressed these cultivators, he looted their storage rings, including their dragon qi. All of them were looted by Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng quickly flew towards the teleportation array of the Chosen One dojo. He took out 100 balls of dragon qi. After the teleportation array absorbed the dragon qi, Lin Feng disappeared without a trace. Fellow Taoists, teach these guys a lesson. Do they really think we're easy to bully? After Lin Feng left, many people roared and took out all kinds of Dharma treasures. Offensive and defensive Dharma treasures flashed as those cultivators began to besiege the cultivators of the Taishang Immortal Sect and other forces. Previously, they were suppressed by these people and could not resist. However, now that Lin Feng had taken away the storage rings of the cultivators of the Taishang Immortal Sect and other forces, they did not have any Dharma treasures on them. Their combat strength plummeted. It was time for them to take revenge. It was chaos outside. Lin Feng had already guessed that this would happen. He did not take action to deal with the people of the Taishang Immortal Sect because Lin Feng knew that someone would take care of them. There was no lack of experts among the cultivators who were suppressed earlier. Since there was a chance to vent their anger, How could they let go of such a great opportunity? At this time, Lin Feng entered the Chosen One dojo. This was the first level of the Chosen One dojo. The spirit chi in the first level was even denser. It was 10 times denser than the spirit chi in the 8 heavens. It was truly a holy land for cultivation. Roar! Suddenly, a roar shook the sky as a terrifying beast pounced over. The beast had a strange appearance. Its body was like a lion's, but its 3 heads were a dragon's head, a tiger's head, and a crocodile's head. Its ferocious aura shocked Lin Feng. This was definitely an overlord-level existence. Bang! Lin Feng raised his fist and punched the ferocious beast. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt as if he had been hit by an ancient mountain. Chapter 2338. Damn, aren't these beasts too powerful? Their bodies are so terrifying, and they look so strange. What kind of race are they? Lin Feng couldn't help but cry out in frustration. Roar! The 3 overlords roared and charged at Lin Feng again, their sharp claws swiping at Lin Feng once more. Dracophant arm. Lin Feng began circulating the archaic Dracophant art. The Dracophant arm was activated. Bang! Next, he and the 3 overlords clashed once more. Accompanied by a dull collision sound, it was as if 2 immemorial mountains had collided together. Lin Feng and the ferocious beast couldn't help but move backwards. Lin Feng had activated his draconic elephant arm and was now evenly matched with the 3-headed ferocious beast. Lin Feng's heart was pounding like a tidal wave. Because he knew how powerful his Dracophant arm was, and it was precisely because he knew how powerful it was that he felt shocked. Even the Dracophant arm couldn't defeat the 3 overlords. From this, one could see how terrifying the physical strength of the 3 overlords were. The world was so big, and there were all kinds of strange things. Lin Feng finally understood the meaning of this saying. There were countless mysterious and unknown races in the world. Although those races were unknown, they were abnormally strong. After the second clash, the 3 overlords stopped attacking Lin Feng. Instead, they floated in the air and closed their eyes to rest. What the hell is this guy doing? Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder. He really didn't understand what the 3 overlords were trying to do. This beast seems to have acknowledged your strength. It seems to be waiting for something. Don't leave for now. Wait here and see what's going to happen, the demon lord said. Lin Feng nodded. He was very curious about the actions of the 3 overlords, so he began to wait. While waiting, Lin Feng observed his surroundings. He was currently floating in the air, and below him was a huge abyss. Within the abyss, there was a river flowing. As far as the eye could see, there was an endless ancient forest. In the distance, there were numerous black mountains. Those mountains were heavy and oppressive. This place was very quiet, and there wasn't even the sound of insects or birds. This was a little abnormal, because normally, the sounds of insects and birds wouldn't stop. There was only one kind of place where the sounds of insects and birds wouldn't be heard. Even birds and insects wouldn't be willing to set foot in such places. Such places were places of extreme threat. These places included places of death, forbidden life, or the territories of powerful beasts. Lin Feng didn't know what kind of place he was in, but this place gave him a faint sense of uneasiness. Obviously, it was extremely dangerous. Whoosh! Not long after, a stream of light was. The streak of light stopped, revealing a strange beast. This beast looked very much like a huge ape, with a white head and red feet. Lin Feng was astonished when he saw the strange beast. Scarlet ape! Lin Feng looked at the beast in bewilderment. There was a record of scarlet apes in the classic of mountains and seas. 400 kilometers to the west, there is a mountain called Xiacizi. Above it is white jade and below it is red copper. There is a beast that looks like an ape, but has a white head and bare feet. It is called Scarlet Ape. This was the record of scarlet apes in the classic of mountains and seas. These beasts had a violent temperament, but were extremely powerful. Since ancient times, whenever a scarlet ape was born, it would alarm everyone. The scarlet ape was one of the most powerful ape creatures. After arriving, the scarlet ape looked coldly at Lin Feng. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine when he was stared at by the scarlet ape. The scarlet ape then looked away, no longer paying attention to Lin Feng. This made Lin Feng very puzzled. This scarlet ape seemed to have acknowledged him. Could it have something to do with the three overlords' acknowledgement of his strength? So the scarlet ape also acknowledged his strength. The scarlet ape closed its eyes and rested. Just like the three overlords, it seemed to be waiting for someone else to arrive. Not simple at all. It seems that these beasts are up to something, so they agreed to appear here. After I entered the Prodigy Training Hall's teleportation array, I happened to be teleported to this place. Then, I encountered the three overlords and was attacked by them. The three overlords fought me to a standstill, so they acknowledged my strength. Now I seem to be qualified to participate in what they want to do. I just don't know what they want to do. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He waited patiently. Not long after, another ferocious beast came. This ferocious beast was actually a hell demon beast. Hell beasts were rumored to be Hell's guardian beasts. Together with the three-headed hellhound and the Hell God-Eater, they were known as the three guardian beasts of Hell. Seeing such a hell beast here was somewhat out of Lin Feng's expectations. The hell beast was shrouded in darkness, making it impossible to see its appearance clearly. Only a pair of bewitching and terrifying eyes could be seen. After the hell beast appeared, it didn't pay attention to Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, or the three overlords. It found a place to close its eyes and rest. The three overlords and the scarlet ape didn't open their eyes either. Similarly, they ignored the hell beast that had just arrived. Only Lin Feng was looking around. Another powerful existence has arrived. This is already the third one, but these guys still haven't made a move. Looks like they're still waiting for another terrifying existence to arrive. Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. He continued to wait. 2 hours later. Rain suddenly fell from the sky. The scarlet ape, the hell beast, and the three overlords opened their eyes at the same time. It's here! Lin Feng narrowed his eyes slightly. To be able to make three terrifying existences react at the same time, it was obvious that the last existence had arrived. Usually, the strongest existence would appear at the end of the show. Therefore, Lin Feng guessed that it was probably the strongest of the four ferocious beasts. Coming with the rain. Just what kind of existence is it? Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. The rain grew denser and denser. Lin Feng suddenly felt a cold and sinister aura enveloping his entire body. The aura made him feel a chill run down his spine. Clearly, that existence was staring at him. Lin Feng was someone who had seen great storms, so his expression was normal. He didn't reveal anything out of the ordinary. In the distance, a beast walked out of the rain. Chapter 2339. A dire beast that walked in the rain might not even be called a dire beast. It was a small beast that was half a meter tall. It stood upright and looked like a bear. However, its appearance was different from those fierce bears. The bear in front of him looked very cute. The fur on its body was also very unique. It was black and white, especially the fur around its eyes. It looked like dark circles under its eyes. A panda! It's actually such a creature. The demon lord was shocked. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He asked, "What kind of creature is a panda?" "This is the first time I've heard of it," the demon lord said. "The panda is an extremely ancient creature. If I remember correctly, this creature should be a terrifying creature that appeared in the same era as the Xiantian lifeforms. Although this clan has a cute appearance, don't be deceived by the appearance of the panda cat. The panda cat is an extremely terrifying creature that has mastered many incredible and terrifying abilities. Some of their abilities can be said to be heaven-defying. Originally, I thought that creatures like the panda cat had long disappeared. I never thought that there would be one here. It's really incredible. I'm afraid this panda cat is not simple. Let's see what this panda cat wants to do later." Lin Feng nodded and looked at the approaching panda. The panda was holding a huge banana leaf in its hand. It carried the banana leaf on its shoulder. It probably used the leaf as an umbrella. TSK, TSK. You're all here early, the panda said with a grin. The three dire beast overlords, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Fiend did not say anything. The panda seemed to be used to it. It looked at Lin Feng and said, Not bad, not bad. A new member has joined us. You should be a cultivator participating in the prodigy ranking battle, right? Lin Feng nodded and said, That's right. I'm indeed participating in the prodigy ranking battle and accidentally entered this place. I wonder what I'm going to do next? The panda smiled and said, Everything is predestined. There's no such thing as accidentally entering. Do you understand the meaning of this sentence? The panda was implying something. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. The predestined thing that the panda was talking about. Could it be that he was fated to be here? It sounded a little too sinister. However, the panda was unfathomable. Lin Feng had a feeling that it knew something. What do you mean? Lin Feng asked tentatively. Panda said. We were just short of someone to do something, and you came to this place. It just so happens that you are evenly matched with the three-headed monster. This is destiny. Humph. The dire beast overlords seemed to be very dissatisfied with the panda calling it a three-headed panda, so it couldn't help but snort. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He more or less understood what Panda was trying to say. Panda continued, We are not from the primordial ruins realm. Oh? Not from the prodigy ranking? Then who are you? How did you enter the Yuanxi realm? Lin Feng looked at Panda and the others in surprise. There was a huge age limit for entering and exiting the prodigy ranking. Those with a lifespan of more than 1,000 years couldn't enter the prodigy ranking. Any cultivator with a lifespan of more than 1,000 years would be attacked by the prodigy ranking when they entered the prodigy ranking. When that happened, they would inevitably end up dead. There was only one situation for living beings with a lifespan of more than 1,000 years. And that was, they were originally living beings of the prodigy ranking. The panda, the dire beast overlords, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Fiend had a lifespan of more than 1,000 years. If they said that they weren't living beings of the prodigy ranking, wasn't that the same as saying that they came from outside? Having a lifespan of more than 1,000 years and being able to enter the prodigy ranking from outside was a little beyond Lin Feng's understanding. There is a kind of person who can ignore the rules of the prodigy ranking and enter the prodigy ranking when the prodigy ranking opens. What kind of person? Lin Feng asked. Ferrymen of souls. Of course, you can also call us nether messengers or hell messengers, the panda said with a smile. Holy sh*t. Lin Feng couldn't help but cry out in surprise, almost falling to the ground. He had naturally heard of ferrymen of souls, nether messengers, and hell messengers. Previously, Lin Feng had mistakenly entered the sea route to the underworld several times. On the sea route to the underworld, Lin Feng had seen many ghost ships. Every ghost ship had the soul of a dead cultivator sitting on it. The souls of the dead cultivators were led to the underworld by the ferrymen of souls, also known as nether messengers or hell messengers. In other words, they were heading to the world of the dead. Lin Feng hadn't expected that these four beings were actually the ferrymen of souls. It was really unbelievable that he would be able to meet a ferryman of souls one day. However, Lin Feng soon felt that something was wrong. He said, Shouldn't the ferrymen of souls be living beings of the underworld? Apart from the Hell Fiend beast that is somewhat related to the underworld, the rest of you have nothing to do with the underworld, right? The panda said, There are many types of ferrymen of souls. People like us belong to the category of ferrymen of souls that live in the world of the living. Usually, we are no different from ordinary cultivators, but every once in a while, we will receive a mission to ferry some souls that are extremely difficult to handle. Lin Feng said. In that case, are we going to do a mission now? That's right. This time, we were summoned to the original ruins realm to complete a mission, the panda said. Lin Feng said. What does that have to do with me? I'm not a ferryman of souls. Not now, but maybe after this mission you will be. Kid, join us and do missions together. If you can become a ferryman of souls, you will gain a lot of benefits. The panda said slowly, tempting him. Lin Feng looked at the panda and couldn't help but feel a little apprehensive. No matter how he looked at it, this guy was deceiving him like the big bad wolf deceiving Little Red Riding Hood. Zhu Yan said faintly. It seems that we don't have a choice now. The hell-fiend beast and the three overlords looked at Lin Feng with an inexplicable light in their eyes. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. It was indeed as Zhu Yan had said. He didn't have a choice now. Convince people with virtue. We have to convince people with virtue. How many times have I told you? Why won't you listen? The panda couldn't help but shout loudly. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly. Since he couldn't refuse, he might as well agree to these people. Lin Feng had always been very interested in ferrying souls into the underworld. Chapter 2340. Lin Feng said, I can agree to your request, but I have some questions that I'd like to ask you. Of course. A smile appeared on Panda's face. Lin Feng asked, Can't a soul ferryman escort the souls of the dead to the underworld? Why do we need so many soul ferrymen? Panda said, You don't seem to know much about the underworld. The underworld is not as simple as you think. Moreover, the place where the underworld recruits souls is the underworld, but the underworld is not the only faction in the underworld. Many factions fight for souls of the dead, Panda said. Hearing Panda's words, Lin Feng knew what was going on. He continued to ask, If that's the case, we might be attacked by the other factions in the underworld? Panda nodded and said, That's right. But don't worry. Although we might be attacked by the other factions in the underworld, the truly terrifying existences, such as the underworld emperors, have already fallen into a deep slumber 2 billion years ago. As long as those underworld emperors do not awaken, we don't have to worry too much. Although Panda seemed to be making a solemn vow and spoke with such confidence and calmness. However, Lin Feng could not help but feel a little worried. The underworld was a place where the dead went. There must be endless dangers and dangers hidden there. How could it be easy to enter the underworld and escort souls to the underworld? After pondering for a moment, Lin Feng asked again, What benefits do you get from escorting the souls of the dead to the underworld? Panda said, We can cultivate some of the top divine abilities of the underworld, and we can also receive various resources as rewards from the underworld. Those resources can only be found in the underworld. Cultivators from the outside world can't get them. Divine abilities of the underworld? Resources of the underworld? Lin Feng's eyes lit up slightly. Panda said, Of course, you'll also receive these things. After we go to the underworld, we can help you apply for the identity of a soul ferryman. Then, you'll have the ability to travel between the two realms. Lin Feng grinned and said, Traveling between the two realms? Not bad, not bad. Let's get the identity of a soul ferryman for fun. Panda looked deeply at Lin Feng and smiled. Hee hee. Of course. The identity of a soul ferryman is useful in many cases. There aren't many cultivators who can be chosen as soul ferrymen in the underworld. Lin Feng asked, Are we sending the souls of the original Ruins realm to the underworld this time? That's right. The original Ruins realm opens once every 800 years. And every time it opens, countless people die. Their souls are trapped in the original Ruins realm, and they can't enter the underworld. They can only enter the underworld by relying on our souls. Pandas the underworlds as underworlds to reincarnate. The underworld's underworld? Panda smiled and said, We traverse the two realms of yin and yang all year round, but we've only heard of the 6 paths of reincarnation and have never seen it. Even the creatures of the underworld have probably never seen it. That can't be, right? Then why is there talk of reincarnated experts? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The experts you're talking about must be existences with heaven-defying cultivation. After they die, their corpses can be dissected. Once they're dissected, they won't fall into hell or enter the cycle of reincarnation. Instead, they'll be directly reincarnated. In fact, it's equivalent to a remnant soul entering the body of a pregnant woman's fetus. Because the fetus's brain hasn't developed yet, these experts will be reincarnated after their corpses are dissected. Panda explained. Lin Feng was very surprised. He hadn't expected the legendary reincarnation to be like this. Only peerless experts could dissect their corpses. Presumably, there were many restrictions to dissecting their corpses. Even if one's cultivation was high enough, whether or not they could dissect their corpses depended on other conditions. What's the fate of the dead souls that enter the underworld? Lin Feng asked. Panda said. That's not necessarily true. Some might become nourishment for the underworld's creatures to cultivate. Some might have their souls scattered, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, earth to earth, turning into the most primitive energy and returning to heaven and earth. Some might become underworld soldiers, I see. Lin Feng nodded. The conversation with Panda had given him a new understanding of the underworld. Swoosh! At this moment, there was a flash of light. Panda took out a black robe and threw it to Lin Feng. What's this? Lin Feng asked. The underworld envoy robe. After wearing it, it can isolate the aura of the living. If you don't wear it, the living will enter the underworld and stay there forever, Panda said. After hearing Panda's words, Lin Feng didn't dare to hesitate and quickly put on the underworld envoy robe. Why aren't you wearing it? Lin Feng looked at Panda and the others. Panda pointed to his forehead. At this moment, Lin Feng saw a rune appear on Panda's forehead. Zhu Yan, the Hell Fiend, and the three overlords of the great beast had mysterious runes on their foreheads. Panda said, This is the underworld envoy rune. With the underworld envoy rune, we naturally don't have to wear it. You don't have the underworld envoy rune, so you have to wear it. Lin Feng nodded. At this moment, the surrounding wind howled. Black fog rolled. Ghostly aura filled the air. Soon after, hordes of dead souls swarmed in from all directions. Give me back my life. Give me back my life. I died so miserably, I died so miserably. I want all of you dead, I want all of you dead. The countless dead souls let out eerie voices that made one's hair stand on end. Some of the dead souls had even turned into evil spirits. These dead souls were all top-notch geniuses when they were alive. They entered the primordial ruins realm to participate in the prodigy ranking battle in search of opportunities, but in the end they died in this place. However, this was the cruelty of the world of cultivators. Everywhere was filled with death and slaughter. It was the same in the primordial ruins realm. Panda took out a soul-summoning bell and held it in his hand. He gently shook the soul-summoning bell. 108,000 years in the mortal world. An instant in the underworld. Lonely souls will not be reincarnated. We will send you to the 9 underworlds. Panda was chanting some kind of incantation. When the dead souls heard the incantation, they immediately quieted down. Line up, Zhu Yan shouted. The densely packed dead souls lined up. Chapter 2341. The black fog churned with a sinister aura. Wherever it passed, all living beings avoided it. Otherworldly soldiers are passing through, retreat. Some cultivators in the distant forest saw the army shrouded in black fog and turned pale with fright. As the saying went, all living beings should retreat when otherworldly soldiers passed through. Those who stood in the way would be sent to the Yellow Springs. Many cultivators knew that otherworldly soldiers passing through wasn't a myth or legend. It was something that happened in reality, and could be seen on many occasions. Now that these cultivators saw otherworldly soldiers passing through, they were both frightened and depressed. Many cultivators believed that it was extremely inauspicious to encounter otherworldly soldiers passing through. Damn, so escorting dead souls into the underworld looks like otherworldly soldiers passing through. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He'd seen otherworldly soldiers passing through a few times. Only now did Lin Feng understand what otherworldly soldiers were. There are many types of otherworldly soldiers passing through. Escorting dead souls into the underworld is one type, and otherworldly soldiers or otherworldly soldiers appearing is another type. Lin Feng asked. Which faction of the underworld do those otherworldly soldiers and otherworldly soldiers belong to? Many factions of the underworld recruit otherworldly soldiers, and otherworldly soldiers belong to the underworld. As emissaries of hell, you must be very familiar with the underworld, right? Lin Feng asked curiously. Lin Feng had heard too many rumors about the fleeting underworld. Things like Yama's Palace, the Yellow Springs River, the Gates of the Abyss, and so on and so forth. They were all legends about the underworld. Actually, we've never entered the underworld. Oh? Why is that? Aren't you escorting dead souls into the underworld? Why haven't you entered the underworld? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. It's true that we're escorting dead souls into the underworld, but the living beings of the underworld will hand over these dead souls at the Bridge of Helplessness. Only after crossing the bridge can you be considered to have entered the underworld's territory. We're not allowed to cross the bridge. If they don't let you cross, you can sneak over and take a look, Lin Feng said. Zhu Yan rolled his eyes and said, Do you think those people from the underworld are idiots? If you sneak over, you'll definitely be discovered. It's not like no one has ever done such a thing in the past. They secretly crossed the bridge, but the final result was that they became one of the souls of the dead. He was killed? Lin Feng asked. Zhu Yan nodded and said, Yes, that's right. The black fog swept up a large number of dead souls and quickly left. The cultivators in the forest could finally breathe a sigh of relief when they saw the ghost soldiers leaving quickly. Lin Feng and the others escorted this group of souls into the passage to the underworld. This passage exuded a cold and terrifying aura. Living people were not allowed to enter. If a living person accidentally entered this place and had no way to escape, they were destined to die. About 3 days later, a huge whirlpool appeared in front of them. Streams of yin qi were emitted from the vortex. We're here, Zhu Yan said. The netherworld. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. They'd finally arrived at the netherworld. The netherworld was a place. It was full of mystery, strangeness, and the unknown. Now that he was about to enter the legendary netherworld for the first time, even though Lin Feng was used to seeing all kinds of storms and waves, he couldn't help but feel a little excited. Zhu Yan said, We'll be passing through the Yin Corpse King's territory first. The Yin Corpse King isn't a good person. He loves to hunt down the emissaries of hell, so be careful later, Lin Feng said with a wry smile. It looks like the netherworld is really full of danger, Zhu Yan said. Of course. Do you think we're going on a trip to relax? The netherworld is a place full of dangers. The slightest carelessness can lead to death. Who knows how many living beings have died in the netherworld since ancient times? Just as Zhu Yan finished speaking. Whoosh! There was a flash of light, and Lin Feng and the others entered the netherworld with the souls. Endless death energy surged, wanting to devour Lin Feng's life. This was the netherworld. There was death energy everywhere. This was the reason why living beings would die when they entered the netherworld. The death energy would continuously devour the lifespan of living beings. And if a cultivator's lifespan was taken, only death would await them. Lin Feng realized that the netherworld envoy robe he was wearing had a miraculous effect. The surging death energy was all blocked by the netherworld envoy robe. The netherworld envoy rune on Zhu Yan's forehead also emitted a mysterious power that protected his body, preventing him from being corroded by the death energy. Speed up! Panda Cat, who was at the front, shouted. He wasn't willing to stay for long because the netherworld was very dangerous. Although the strongest power in the netherworld was still the underworld. However, other than the underworld, there were many terrifying powers in the netherworld. Some powers weren't much weaker than the underworld. The current underworld was no longer the underworld that could unify the netherworld. This was because when the great sage equaling heaven caused trouble in the underworld, many living beings saw that the underworld wasn't invincible. Thus, some of the forces that had originally submitted to the underworld began to resist the rule of the underworld, which led to the current situation of the netherworld being divided. Lin Feng and the others escorted the army of dead souls and quickly flew into the depths. Suddenly, a series of sharp and ear-piercing screams flew over from afar. Black fog rolled in the distance. In the black fog, terrifying living beings appeared one after another. Those living beings were wearing loose black robes and their faces couldn't be seen clearly. Only a pair of pale green eyes could be seen. "The soul catchers are here, kill them!" Panda Cat shouted loudly. Boom! 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 Panda Cat, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Demon Beast, the three overlords of the ferocious beasts, all attacked those soul catchers. Both sides were engaged in a great battle. Soul catchers were constantly killed, but there were also many soul catchers that devoured a large number of souls. Soul catchers? They should be ghosts. Lin Feng directly took out the ghost-raising jar. Then, he activated the ghost-raising jar. Whoosh! Whoosh! Cold wind swept through heaven and earth. The powerful devouring power enveloped the densely packed soul catchers. One by one, the soul catchers flew quickly toward Lin Feng. Many soul catchers let out sharp and terrifying screams. This was a type of soul attack. Sensing danger, the soul catchers wanted to use the soul attack to defeat Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng's soul was strong enough, and Lin Feng's soul was protected by a supreme treasure like the Chaos Ancient Lamp, so he wasn't affected by these soul catchers at all. However, these soul catchers couldn't resist the devouring power of the ghost-raising jar. This treasure was simply too powerful. It directly devoured the densely packed soul catchers. "Damn, you're good, brother. You're still the best," Zhu Yan suddenly exclaimed. "Hee hee, it's all thanks to this treasure," Lin Feng said with a smile. Chapter 2342. Underworld. One of the three supreme realms. It was on par with the Heaven Realm and the Chaos Fantasy World. This was a world that was a level higher than the 3,000 great worlds. The underworld was not as dark as one imagined. This was a foggy world. There were all kinds of strange flowers and herbs growing here. These were all strange flowers and herbs of the underworld that could not be seen in the outside world. The ghost army continued to move forward. There were countless underworld creatures attacking Lin Feng and the others to steal their souls. But they were all repelled by Lin Feng and the others. "We're about to reach the Eden Corpse King's territory. Everyone be careful," Cat Bear said in a deep voice. The Zhu Yan's expression became serious. Lin Feng's heart trembled. Eden Corpse King, one of the overlords of the underworld. When he was chatting with the Zhu Yan, Lin Feng had also asked about the Eden Corpse King. He had obtained some information about the Eden Corpse King from the Zhu Yan. The Eden Corpse King was said to be an emperor-level existence. He had already lived for an extremely long time. So long that many people did not know how long the Eden Corpse King had lived. The Eden Corpse King had spent most of his time sleeping. Because the Eden Corpse King had already reached old age. Although an emperor had an incomparably long lifespan, an emperor would still grow old. In order to continue living, these ancient experts would usually choose to sleep. This was because sleeping could reduce the consumption of one's life energy to the greatest extent. The Eden Corpse King would occasionally wake up. Normally, when the Eden Corpse King woke up, it would be time for the Eden Corpse King to eat. The most worrying thing about going through the Eden Corpse King's territory was that the Eden Corpse King would wake up from his sleep. If the Eden Corpse King woke up, it would be extremely troublesome. An existence like the Eden Corpse King, even if he was old and weak, no longer had the strength of the past. But the Eden Corpse King's strength was still unimaginably strong. An existence of this level would need to personally appear. As long as a portion of his power descended, he would be able to kill gods and demons. Along the way, everyone was praying that they would not encounter the Eden Corpse King awakening. At the end of the earth, a low voice sounded. Unknown time. Finally awakened from his sleep. Laughing at the world. I am still unparalleled in the world. When the voice rang out, the Zhu Yan's expression changed. The Eden Corpse King has awakened. His voice became extremely solemn. The awakening of the Een Corpse King was not a good thing for them. Panda Cat said, "Speed up, we need to rush out of the Een Corpse King's territory as fast as possible." Everyone nodded and increased their speed to the maximum. The black fog rolled violently in the air. Within the black fog, the army of the dead trembled. These dead souls were also afraid of the Een Corpse King's arrival. Because if the Een Corpse King appeared, they would become its food. Buzz! Suddenly, a pair of cold eyes appeared in the sky. It was a pair of eyes that could not be described with words. Those eyes seemed to contain billions of worlds. Een Corpse King! Scarlet Ape's voice trembled. At the very least, Panda could not help but stop. A great emperor! Lin Feng was shocked. In the past, great emperors only existed in various stories and legends. Lin Feng had heard too much about the great emperors. But he had never seen a real great emperor. For example, the Demon Lord could no longer be called a great emperor. In the past, he was a great emperor at his peak, but now, he was only a remnant soul. But the Een Corpse King was different. Although the Een Corpse King was old and weak, and its battle strength was not at its peak, it was still terrifying to the point of suffocation. Emissary of the Underworld. The cold voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth, causing everyone to feel a chill all over their bodies. At that moment, Lin Feng had the urge to turn around and leave. The Een Corpse King's strength was indescribable with words. "Yes, Lord Een Corpse King, we are willing to offer you 10,000 souls. Please let us pass, so that we can report to the underworld," Panda Cat said. "Ha ha!" The Een Corpse King suddenly laughed and said, "Every time this king revives, I have to devour more than 1,000,000 top-quality dead souls. And the dead souls here are all top-quality dead souls. There should be more than 1,000,000 in total, which is perfect for this king to devour." These dead souls were all living beings that died in the original Ruins world. Including the cultivators that entered the original Ruins world, the pets of the cultivators, the various fierce beasts of the original Ruins world, etc. Those dead living beings had powerful cultivation when they were alive, and their talent was astonishing. After death, their souls were even purer. The purer the soul, the purer the soul, the more valuable it was. "Lord Een Corpse King, your appetite is a bit too big. If you devour all the dead souls, how can we report to the underworld?" Panda Cat said. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. This Panda Cat's guts were really not small. He actually dared to bargain with the Een Corpse King, a great emperor-level existence. Humph! The Een Corpse King could not help but let out a cold snort, and said, "If you 5 emissaries of the underworld leave now, you can still live. If you don't know what's good for you, this king will devour all of you as well." The Een Corpse King said coldly. "Een Corpse King, you are old," Panda Cat said with a grin. "What did you say?" The Een Corpse King's eyes suddenly shot out endless killing intent. The Een Corpse King was indeed old. But he would never allow others to say that he was old. This was the Een Corpse King's biggest taboo. Many powerful beings were like this. When their lives came to an end, they would fear death. They would not allow others to mention the word old in front of them. And Panda Cat had clearly violated the Een Corpse King's taboo. Lin Feng could not help but wipe away his cold sweat. Panda Cat's words had completely angered the Een Corpse King. No one knew what Panda Cat was thinking. This fellow was truly the best in the world of acting tough. He dared to act tough in front of a great emperor-level existence. Acting tough had reached a new height. But after acting tough, he would have to face the wrath of the Een Corpse King. He might have had a chance to escape earlier. But now the Een Corpse King would not let anyone go. "Am I wrong? Een Corpse King, you are really old! You are really old! You are really old!" Panda Cat continued. Couldn't this fellow just say it once? He actually repeated the words. "You are really old," 3 times. Do you know the price of angering this king? The Een Corpse King's cold eyes were filled with endless killing intent. The surrounding space began to distort. A terrifying emperor's aura spread out, covering the entire world. Fuck this lunatic, now that he has angered the Een Corpse King, this is troublesome. Zhu Yan could not help but curse. Lin Feng also gave a bitter smile. The Een Corpse King was enraged. Chapter 2343. Now that the Een Corpse King was truly enraged, its killing intent soared to the heavens. Feeling the terrifying killing intent from the Een Corpse King, Lin Feng's expression turned solemn. He was not familiar with the underworld and had been following Panda Cat. Now that he wanted to escape, it would not be easy. It was very likely that he would be lost in the underworld. It had to be said that Panda Cat was truly a scammer. Panda Cat said, "I was just speaking the truth. Is there a need to be so angry? Being angry is something that only weaklings do. Een Corpse King, you are strong enough. Now that you are angry because of a single sentence, it is not because your cultivation is weak, but because your heart has become weak." Shwa shwa. At this time, the Een Corpse King seemed to have reached the end of its patience. Two cold eyes of death shot towards Panda Cat. It contained a terrifying might that could destroy the heavens and earth, causing people to be shocked and moved. Great space shift. At this time, Panda Cat roared and stomped his right foot on the ground. Immediately after, lines of formation runes condensed and enveloped everyone within. Shwa! Light flashed. Everyone disappeared without a trace. The Een Corpse King's attack landed in the air. Shwa! 1,000 miles away. With a flash of light, Lin Feng and the rest appeared with the ghost army. "Damn, what kind of technique is this?" Zhu Yan suddenly exclaimed. It was clear that Zhu Yan did not know much about Panda Cat's techniques. Although Zhu Yan had interacted with Panda Cat several times, he knew that Panda Cat's cultivation was unfathomable. But he never thought that Panda Cat would be so heaven-defying. Under the eyes of a great emperor, he actually brought so many people and escaped without a trace. This kind of technique was truly unfathomable. Powerful, truly powerful. Lin Feng's heart was also filled with shock. Panda Cat's techniques were truly too shocking. He had screwed over a great emperor. The Een Corpse King should be furious right now, right? Furthermore, Lin Feng was the successor of the Heavenly Master's bloodline. He knew how terrifying Panda Cat's teleportation array was. The Great Spatial Shift Array was an extremely difficult ability to perform. Every time the Great Spatial Shift Array was activated, the more people it transported, the more difficult it would be to perform. Not only did Panda's teleportation array cover Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Demon Beast, the three overlords of the ferocious beasts, it also covered millions of souls. Lin Feng didn't know how difficult it was to use this kind of space-shifting array. And there was something else that was even more shocking. Lin Feng found it hard to believe that Panda Cat was able to use a teleportation array right under the Een Corpse King's nose. This was setting up a teleportation array without being detected by a great emperor's senses. Lin Feng finally knew why Panda Cat wanted to anger the Een Corpse King. Panda Cat had infuriated the Een Corpse King in order to set up the space-shifting array. When the Een Corpse King was extremely angry, the Een Corpse King's perception of the outside world would decrease. That was why Lin Feng felt that Panda Cat had schemed against the Een Corpse King. And the actual situation was exactly as Lin Feng had guessed. Panda Cat was truly not simple. His methods were shocking and his intelligence was outstanding. Not everyone could scheme against a great emperor. "Speed up, leave the Een Corpse King's territory," Panda Cat said in a deep voice. The ghost army's speed was raised to the limit as they quickly rushed forward. The underworld creatures had a very strong concept of territory. An existence like the Een Corpse King would not easily leave his territory and set foot in other territories. But as another emissary of the underworld, he could lead the ghost army to quickly pass through various territories. Of course, there was a reason for this. Because the current underworld was equivalent to the Central Dynasty. And a powerful existence like the Een Corpse King was equivalent to a powerful marquis that ruled over a region. It was just that the underworld could still rule over the underworld and the various territories in name. But the reality was that the underworld had already lost this kind of ruling power and was unable to centralize power. The lords of the various territories also had an attitude of paying lip service to the underworld. Of course, although the lords had an attitude of paying lip service to the underworld. However, the underworld emissaries bringing the dead souls back to the underworld was a kind of order and rule of the underworld. The lords did not dare to break this rule. Any world had its own rules. When these rules were broken, it was not far from destruction. However, some powerful lords had tyrannical cultivations. Although they would not break the rules of the underworld, they dared to kill the underworld emissaries and devour the ghost army. An existence like the Ian Corpse King dared to do this kind of thing. Under Panda Cat's lead, everyone quickly rushed out of the Ian Corpse King's territory. They continued to rush forward. Woo 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 woo! Not long after, a bugle horn sounded in front of them. From afar, Lin Feng saw two torrents colliding. It was two huge armies of underworld soldiers fighting against each other. The leader of one of the Nether Legions stood on the back of a huge black bone dragon. The leader of the underworld soldiers was wearing a black armor that covered his body tightly. One could only see a pair of blood-red eyes that flashed with a cold light. The leader of the other underworld soldiers' army was riding on a huge white bone beast. It was unknown what kind of beast it was, but it was abnormally huge and had a pair of terrifying wings. As for the leader, it was a golden skeleton. In the skeleton's hand was a battle sword. "It's the Black Hell Devil King and the Skeleton Evil King!" Zhu Yan was shocked. "Who are these people?" Lin Feng asked. "These are the two terrifying territories of the underworld. Their territories are next to each other, so there are frequent battles," Zhu Yan said. The underworld was the same as the outside world. There were conflicts of interests. There were also large-scale battles. Compared to the battles in the outside world, it was even more tragic. "Let's take a detour." Panda Cat looked deeply at the Black Hell Devil King and the Skeleton Evil King, then led everyone to change their original route. There was no way they could pass through the battle in front of them. If they insisted on going, death was the only way out. The ghost army changed their route and left quickly. About 5 days later, Zhu Yan finally showed a relieved expression and said, "We will reach the underworld's territory in at most 2 hours. By then, our mission will be over." Lin Feng could not help but let out a sigh of relief. Everything he had seen and heard along the way had broadened his horizons. Now that the mission was about to be completed, he could not help but feel excited. After the mission was completed, he would receive a huge reward. After another half an hour, the originally slightly dim world instantly became as dark as ink. It was as if there was a terrifying existence. It chased after them. Chapter 2344. "It seems like something terrifying is chasing after us." Lin Feng's expression became extremely grave. Behind him, something terrifying was rapidly approaching, and the surrounding world had become dark. It was also caused by that terrifying creature, but as for what that creature was, it was still unknown for the time being. Perhaps Zhu Yan and the others would know. After all, they had been Netherworld envoys for many years. They definitely knew many things that he didn't know. "Don't look back. That's a creature in the darkness. It's extremely terrifying. If you look back, you'll suffer a great calamity. We don't need to pay attention to those creatures in the darkness," said Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan said. Lin Feng's heart trembled slightly. It seemed that there were truly too many terrifying existences in the netherworld. Many of them were filled with mysteries and unknowns. They had to be careful when dealing with those terrifying existences. Otherwise, they might lose their lives. Lin Feng calmed his mind and quickly rushed forward. "I know your secret. You have a huge secret that very few people know about, but I know about. Do you want to know? If you want to know, then stop. I can tell you the secret." Suddenly, a gentle and enticing voice rang out in Lin Feng's mind. The voice was very alluring. It was very bewitching. Lin Feng knew that the owner of the voice was the creature in the darkness. He ignored the owner of the voice. He wanted to use this method to confuse Lin Feng. It wasn't an easy task. Your secret is extremely shocking. Don't you want to know? This secret is related to your origin. The voice rang out again. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This fellow was truly a little strange. The undying god's blood once lit the 9 prefectures' lantern, illuminating the world. The sovereign's blood dyed the world's mountains and rivers blood red. Your ancestor is really amazing. The voice rang out again. This time, Lin Feng was extremely shocked. This guy was too strange. He actually knew about his origin? How did he know? Lin Feng hadn't revealed anything. Could it be that this guy could steal his soul and memories? If that was the case, it was too terrifying. You must be wondering why I know so much about you. You don't need to be curious. I've lived for a very long time, and I know too many things. I can see through your origin, your secrets. There's nothing I don't know. Stop, we can have a good talk. Aren't you curious about your third identity? Your identity isn't simple, it's really not simple. The Undying Clan and the Sovereign Clan's bloodline inheritance are powerful enough, but your origin isn't limited to that. The third identity is the most shocking. I can tell you that in this world, perhaps only I can solve the mystery in your heart. The voice rang out once again. Stop and have a chat with him. The secret of my birth is about to be revealed. How exciting! At this moment, a bewitching voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. This voice seemed to be the demonic will in Lin Feng's heart. This demonic will. It had been awakened by the mysterious existence in the darkness. And this demonic will. It continued to bewitch Lin Feng. Lin Feng's eyes became a little confused. In his heart he was struggling. The secret of his third identity. How could Lin Feng not want to know? Of course, he wanted to know. And he really wanted to know. This might be the root cause of Lin Feng's demonic will. When there was desire in his heart, it was easy to give birth to demonic will. Just like Lin Feng now. But there was another voice in Lin Feng's mind. Don't agree to it. Don't agree to it. Once you agree to it, you will be doomed eternally. This voice was dissuading Lin Feng. And the other voice was bewitching Lin Feng. 2 different voices. They continued to resound in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng felt like his head was about to split open. Gradually, the bewitching voice gained the upper hand. Lin Feng's eyes became more and more confused. He seemed to want to stop and have a good talk with the existence in the darkness about his third identity. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly realized that someone was calling him. Brother, are you okay? Brother, wake up. The voice came from afar, like a ray of light in the endless darkness, and this ray of light pointed out the way forward for him. Lin Feng's confused eyes became clear in an instant. Lin Feng realized that Zhu Yan was waving its big claws and patting him, calling him. Zhu Yan said when it saw Lin Feng wake up. It seems that you were tricked. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel scared. He had indeed been tricked. If it wasn't for Zhu Yan, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Fortunately, Zhu Yan had woken him up in time. Many thanks, Lin Feng said. Haha, there's no need to be so polite. When I first entered the underworld, I was tricked just like you. Fortunately, there was an old man who led me. Otherwise, I would have been done for. Zhu Yan looked cold, but after getting to know it better, Lin Feng realized that it was a very warm person. Zhu Yan was the type of person who was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. The creatures in the darkness are very strange. They know a lot about me, Lin Feng said. That's right. This kind of creature is extremely strange. They can steal other people's soul memories and use the weaknesses in other people's soul memories as a breakthrough point to bewitch them. I didn't tell you this before because I wanted you to experience the terror of these creatures and let you know their methods. Next time, if they use the same method to bewitch you, you will have a countermeasure, Zhu Yan said. Lin Feng nodded. The group continued forward. It didn't take long for them to enter the underworld's territory. After entering the underworld's territory, the creatures in the darkness left. Now that we're in the underworld's territory, we can relax. There won't be anyone who's so reckless as to cause trouble for us anymore, Julian said. The ghoul army moved through the underworld's territory, occasionally seeing patrolling Een soldiers. When the Een soldiers saw that the netherworld envoys were sending the ghoul army over, they didn't question Lin Feng and the others. The next day, Lin Feng saw a surging river. That's the Yellow Springs River, Julian said. Jiyan nodded. Lin Feng was shocked. Chapter 2345. According to myths and legends, after death, one had to pass through the gates of hell and pass through the Yellow Springs Road. Between the Yellow Springs Road and the underworld was the River of Forgetfulness. The River of Forgetfulness's water was blood yellow in color, filled with wandering souls that could not be reincarnated. Insects and snakes were everywhere, and the stench of blood filled the air. There was a bridge of forgetfulness on the River of Forgetfulness, and an old woman sat beside it. Her name was Mengpa. To cross the River of Forgetfulness, one had to cross the Bridge of Forgetfulness. To cross the Bridge of Forgetfulness, one had to drink Mengpo's soup. Without drinking Mengpo's soup, one could not cross the Bridge of Forgetfulness. Without crossing the Bridge of Forgetfulness, one could not reincarnate. Only by crossing the Yellow Springs River could one reach the Yellow Springs Road. Lin Feng saw the first river, one of the three great rivers of the underworld. The other two rivers were the River of Styx and the River of Forgetfulness. Lin Feng looked at the Yellow Springs River and saw the water flowing endlessly. There were countless vengeful, evil spirits in the river, and their roars shook the sky. These vengeful spirits wanted to pounce on Lin Feng and the others and kill them. However, they would never be able to get out of the Yellow Springs River. Those who fall into the Yellow Springs River will never be reincarnated. These evil spirits are evil spirits that can never be reincarnated, Scarlet Ape said. I heard that the Yellow Springs River is highly toxic. I wonder if that's true? Lin Feng asked as he recalled some of the myths and legends about the Yellow Springs River. When he was young, Lin Feng had been cultivating in Xiaolan Academy. Back then, when the demons were wreaking havoc, Lin Feng went underground to slay the demons and obtained the Yellow Springs River. However, Lin Feng guessed that the Yellow Springs River he obtained back then was only called the Yellow Springs River. It was not the Yellow Springs River of the underworld at all. After all, how could the water of the Yellow Springs River of the underworld flow into the mortal world? That's right. The Yellow Springs River is extremely toxic. It is said that if a great emperor falls into the Yellow Springs River and is washed by the water for a period of time, his body will be destroyed, Scarlet Ape said. Lin Feng was shocked. Wasn't the Yellow Springs River a little too terrifying? I heard that the weak water of the undying world is highly toxic. I wonder how it is compared to the Yellow Springs River? Lin Feng said. Weak water is also highly toxic, but I have never seen weak water before, so it is difficult for me to evaluate it, Julian said. Lin Feng nodded and looked at the surging yellow springs. Lin Feng took out a spatial porcelain bottle. A powerful suction force gushed out from the porcelain bottle. A large amount of Yellow Springs water was swallowed by the spatial vase. The Yellow Springs River was such a treasure. How could he let it go? It was not easy for him to come to the underworld, so he naturally had to collect more Yellow Springs water. Kacha! However, what made Lin Feng gloomy was that after the spatial porcelain bottle swallowed the Yellow Springs River water, the Yellow Springs River water was swallowed up. The spatial porcelain bottle began to crack. Ordinary spatial porcelain bottles were unable to withstand the Yellow Springs River's poison and were corroded. Lin Feng took out the primordial magic cauldron. Large amounts of Yellow Springs water were sucked into the primitive magic cauldron. Although the water of the Yellow Springs was highly toxic, it couldn't destroy Lin Feng's primordial demonic cauldron. After filling the primordial demonic cauldron, Lin Feng was finally satisfied. TSK. To be able to withstand the corrosion of the Yellow Springs River water, your demonic cauldron is not simple. Zhu Yan smacked its lips and said, Hee hee. I got it by chance, Lin Feng said with a smile. The army of dead souls crossed the stone bridge above the Yellow Springs River, then walked along the Yellow Springs Road, heading deeper into the underworld. Dense blood-colored flowers grew on both sides of the Yellow Springs Road. Those blood-colored flowers emitted a demonic power. That power seemed to want to pull people into an endless illusion. Those were red spider lilies. They were also known as flowers of death and flowers of illusion. They could create extremely terrifying illusions, causing people to lose themselves in them and be unable to extricate themselves. However, Lin Feng's netherworld envoy robe was extraordinary and was able to withstand the power of the red spider lilies. Is the Yellow Springs Road connected to the River of Forgetfulness? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Zhu Yan nodded and said, That's right. The Yellow Springs Road is connected to the River of Forgetfulness. Once we get to the River of Forgetfulness and turn in our mission, we'll have completed it. They walked for about a day. Lin Feng finally saw the River of Forgetfulness. Above the River of Forgetfulness, there was a dense ghostly aura. The evil spirits in the River of Forgetfulness were even more terrifying than the ones in the Yellow Springs. Lin Feng saw a huge stone tablet beside the River of Forgetfulness. There were 3 blood-colored words written on the tablet. These 3 words were, River of Forgetfulness. These 3 words exuded a demonic and terrifying aura. Below the 3 blood-red words was a line of ancient poetry. My soul lingers on the 3 roads river, only pity the red spider lilies. Never see each other, missing each other forever. Drinking the water of my river of forgetfulness, not knowing the heartbroken person. Helpless bridge of helplessness, broken village terrace. This ancient poem mentioned the red spider lilies, the river of forgetfulness, and the bridge of helplessness. It was a perfect match for this place. The water in the river of forgetfulness is called the water of forgetfulness. This water is very terrifying. It can erase anyone's memories, Zhu Yan said. The water of forgetfulness. I've only heard of it before, but now I've seen it with my own eyes. I'll collect some of this water of forgetfulness. Who knows? I might be able to use it in the future. Lin Feng took out a porcelain bottle and began to collect the water of forgetfulness. The water of forgetfulness was not as poisonous as the water in the Yellow Springs, so the porcelain bottle was not damaged. Lin Feng was only satisfied after he had collected an entire bottle of water of forgetfulness. The army of dead spirits arrived at the bridge of helplessness. From afar, Lin Feng saw many netherworld operatives. The one leading them was a general. We've sent the army of dead spirits, Panda Cat said. Good. Here's your reward. The netherworld general took out 4 storage rings and tossed them to Panda Cat. This time, we've brought a new comrade. He can become a netherworld envoy and fill the gap from before, Panda Cat said. Lin Feng walked out and cupped his fists at the netherworld general. The netherworld general looked at Lin Feng and nodded. Since that's the case, I'll report this matter to the higher-ups. Let the magistrate make the decision. After saying that, the netherworld general took out a talisman and chanted a few incantations on the talisman. The talisman began to burn fiercely. Not long after, an ancient voice rang out. You can become a netherworld envoy. After that voice rang out, a bolt of lightning descended from the sky and struck Lin Feng's forehead. The bolt of lightning turned into a netherworld envoy talisman. The ancient voice from before did not speak again. Lin Feng touched the netherworld envoy talisman on his forehead. He could vaguely feel that he had formed a strange connection with the netherworld. This is your reward. The netherworld general tossed a storage ring to Lin Feng. Lin Feng kept the storage ring. Let's go, Panda Cat said. Lin Feng and the others did not dare to hesitate. They quickly followed Panda Cat and left. Clearly, they were a small team, and Panda Cat was the strongest. She was the leader of this small team. Now that you've become a netherworld envoy, from now on, unless it's a ghost emperor or a ghost immortal, other evil ghosts will not be able to harm you, Zhu Yan said with a smile. Chapter 2346. Underworld envoys can suppress evil spirits? Lin Feng could not help but ask. Of course. Zhu Yan pointed at the Underworld Envoy rune on his forehead and said, Do you see that? This Underworld Envoy rune gives us the power to suppress evil spirits. When the time comes, you can also sense the power of the Underworld Envoy rune and try to use it for yourself. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. Could he use the Underworld Envoy rune to subdue the Ghost Emperor in the Ghost Rearing Jar? If he could subdue the Ghost Emperor, then he would have another heaven-defying expert by his side. He nodded and said, When I have the chance, I will try out the power of the Underworld Envoy rune. When they arrived at the outskirts of the Underworld, Panda looked at Lin Feng and said, Kid, are you wondering why we need another Underworld Envoy? Lin Feng was indeed wondering about that. Panda, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Demon Beast were the three overlords of the Great Beasts. The 4 Underworld Envoys could complete the escort mission, so there was no need for him to join them. All things are divided into yin and yang, and heaven and earth are divided into the 5 elements. When the 5 elements are complete, the great Tao will return to one. There are only 4 of us, so we can't complete the 5 elements. There are many things that require the 5 elements to be complete before they can be on the right track. Once the 5 elements are missing, there might be unforeseen changes that we can't even imagine. Especially in a place like the Underworld, we have to pay attention to these things. Panda said. Lin Feng could understand Panda's words. When the 5 elements were complete, they might be able to prevent some evil things from happening. This was related to a mysterious and profound problem of luck. It was difficult to explain it with words. Some things were destined by fate. Just like what Panda had said before. Lin Feng would appear at the place where they would meet up. This was destined by fate. How often will we be out on missions? Lin Feng asked. Not necessarily, Panda said. When the time comes, I will inform everyone. Through the Underworld Envoy rune, I can send messages to the 4 of you. What about during normal times? Will I receive a mission on my own? Lin Feng asked. However, the specific arrangements will depend on the Netherworld's arrangements. Us Netherworld Envoys are different from other Netherworld Envoys. Many Netherworld Envoys have fixed missions. For example, the Netherworld Envoys in the Sea region are each in charge of an area of the Sea region. The souls of the dead cultivators in the Sea region are led by them. However, us Netherworld Envoys are not in charge of an area. We will go wherever there is a mission, Panda said. Lin Feng laughed bitterly and said, It seems like we are considered to be contracted Netherworld Envoys, and those Netherworld Envoys are considered to be part of Hell's staff. Ha ha! Panda, Scarlet Ape, Hell Demon Beast, and the 3 overlords burst into laughter when they heard Lin Feng's explanation. The Zhu Yan nodded and said, Actually, you're right. We don't belong to the Underworld, so we're not part of its staff. We're under a contract, and our relationship with the Underworld is one of cooperation. There's a way to break this cooperation, Panda said. That's why I don't like to call myself Netherworld Envoys. I like to call myself Spirit Ferryman, ferrying those vengeful spirits that wander between heaven and earth. Panda paused for a moment, then continued. Let's not waste any more time here. Follow me to do something big. Something big? What big thing? Lin Feng and the others looked at each other. Aren't the Black Hell Demon King and the Skeleton Evil King fighting? Now that the 2 of them are not in their nests, let's go take a look and see if there are any treasures in their nests worth taking, Panda said with a grin. I'll go. Lin Feng and the others could not help but cry out. They almost fell to the ground. Panda was really fearless. If they really stole the Black Hell Demon King and the Skeleton Evil King's treasures, wouldn't those 2 underworld lords go crazy with anger? They would definitely lead an army to hunt them down. Although they knew that the consequences would be unimaginable, Panda's suggestion was too tempting. Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Demon Beast were all eager to give it a try. Alright, let's do something big and rob the 2 underworld lords of their treasures before leaving, Lin Feng said. Lin Feng's personality was also fearless. All these years, in order to obtain all kinds of treasures, he had been to many dangerous places. This place is closer to the skeleton evil king's territory. Let's go there first, Panda said. The others naturally had no objections. Then, the 5 of them quickly rushed to the skeleton evil king's territory. 3 days later, they arrived at the skeleton evil king's territory. There were underworld soldiers patrolling the skeleton evil king's territory. However, as an underworld envoy, it was not difficult to avoid the underworld soldiers' detection. They went deep into the territory. Finally, they arrived at the skeleton evil king's base. It was a huge mountain range that stretched out into the distance. The mountain range was called the Skeleton Mountain Range. It was rumored that the skeleton evil king was a skeleton at the bottom of the Skeleton Mountain Range that had awakened his spiritual wisdom and cultivated his skills. In the end, he became an underworld lord. Within the Skeleton Mountain Range, the security was extremely tight. Moreover, there was a huge skeleton mirror floating above the Skeleton Mountain Range that could see through the sky. Panda almost drooled when he saw the mirror of skulls. Do you see that? It's said that the skeleton mirror was forged from immortal bones. It can see through mountains and rivers. Its power is unimaginable. It was placed in the skeleton evil king's territory to protect it. If we can obtain it, we'll be heaven-defying. Panda kept rubbing his hands. Clearly, he was very interested in the skeleton mirror. Lin Feng said. It has an owner. I don't think we can get it. Let's think of a way to sneak in and see if there are any other treasures. However, with the skull mirror hovering above the Skull Mountain Range, I'm afraid we'll be discovered if we barge in recklessly, Xuan said. I remember that Boss Panda has a death cloak here. It's said to be a supreme treasure refined by the first death god. Wearing the death cloak can make one invisible. It's that powerful? Lin Feng was shocked. The name of the first death god was enough to tell that he was an extraordinary existence. He might even be an immortal realm expert. The death cloak was definitely a heaven-defying treasure. Panda waved his paw, and the death cloak flew out. Come, let's go in and take a look. The death cloak enveloped the 5 of them. Lin Feng and the others headed deeper into the Skeleton Mountain Range. There were countless patrolling underworld soldiers all around. Above the Skeleton Mountain Range was the skeleton mirror that could see through the sky. However, Lin Feng and the others relied on the death cloak to deceive everyone and enter the depths of the Skeleton Mountain Range. Chapter 2347. In the Skeleton Mountain Range, there were many huge caves. Many of the caves were filled with underworld soldiers and underworld generals. Zhu Yan said, The treasury must be heavily guarded. I don't think it'll be easy for us to enter. Panda said, Let's not enter the treasury. Let's go to the Skeleton Evil King's training ground and see if there are any amazing treasures there. Everyone began to search for the Skeleton Evil King's training ground. There was a huge canyon in the depths of the Skeleton Mountains. The canyon emitted a terrifying aura that made Lin Feng feel suffocated. 2 huge stone statues stood at the entrance of the canyon. The one on the left was a god of darkness holding a demonic sword. It looked like it was about to transform into an immortal demon god. The one on the right was a skeletal god of war holding a bone blade that could shatter the heavens. The entire canyon was surrounded by a huge array, and the security was extremely tight. Wanting to enter it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It looks like the Skeleton Evil King's training ground is in the depths of the canyon. That guy is really careful. He didn't feel safe in his own nest and set up so many powerful formations, the Hell Demon Beast said. It's better to be safe than sorry. The Skeleton Evil King should know this very well, the 3 overlords said. The formations here are very complicated. It won't be easy to break them. The most troublesome thing is the skeleton mirror. It's too difficult to not cause any disturbance when breaking the formation. If we cause any disturbance, we'll be discovered by the skeleton mirror. When that happens, we won't be able to hide anymore, Lin Feng said with a serious expression. Zhu Yan said, It's really troublesome. Panda said. I'll be in charge of breaking the formation. Old Mo, you'll be in charge of isolating the fluctuations from the formation. Is that okay with you? Old Mo. That was what Panda called Lin Feng. He was the fifth underworld envoy to join them. He was also the last underworld envoy to join them. Panda had given Lin Feng such a nickname. Lin Feng nodded. No problem. Heh. It's great to have two people who are proficient in formations. Scarlet Ape grinned. Lin Feng and Panda began to work together to crack the array. The array was extremely complicated. Lin Feng did not have any confidence in cracking it, but Panda seemed to be able to crack it easily. Clearly, Panda's understanding of formations had reached the point where he could appear and disappear unpredictably. It was enough to shock Lin Feng. Even Lin Feng's attainments in array formations could not be compared to Panda Cat's. Of course, this had something to do with Lin Feng's short cultivation. After all, Lin Feng was the successor of the Celestial Master sect. As his cultivation increased, his study of array formations deepened. When the time comes, Lin Feng believed that in this world, there were only a handful of people who could be compared with the Celestial Master Taoism in terms of formations. With Lin Feng's current attainments in formations, it was naturally not difficult for him to be responsible for isolating the sound and the energy fluctuations generated when breaking the formation. 6 hours later, the formation cracked open. After the 5 of them entered the array. Then, Panda closed the array again, and it looked exactly the same as before. From this point, one could see how powerful Panda Cat was. It was easy to destroy, but hard to repair. That was the reason. After entering the canyon, everyone continued to walk inside. The yin qi in the canyon was extremely heavy, and a large number of yin spirits had formed. Those yin spirits wandered around. If they saw living beings enter, those yin spirits would pounce on them without hesitation and immediately kill the living beings who dared to trespass into the canyon. First, it was the array. There were densely packed yin spirits in the array. One had to admit that this skeleton evil lord was really too cautious. These yin spirits did not discover Lin Feng and the other 4 hiding under the death cloak. They came to the deepest part of the canyon. There was a white bone hall in the deepest part of the canyon. This white bone hall should be the place where the skeleton evil monarch cultivated. Now, the door of the white bone hall was tightly shut. The door was densely covered with restrictions. In order to enter the White Bone Hall, one had to break the restrictions. The restrictions on the White Bone Hall were more powerful and complicated than the ones outside. Zhu Yan cursed. Damn, why is the skeleton evil lord so cautious? Is there some shocking secret in the place where he cultivates? Could it be? Is there some powerful treasure in the place where he cultivates? The eyes of Lin Feng and the others lit up. They also felt that Zhu Yan's words were very likely. Otherwise, the skeleton evil lord would not have to be so careful. Break the array, Panda Cat said. Lin Feng and Panda Cat continued to work together. This time, the time needed to break the array was twice as long as the previous one. The array was broken. The 5 of them pushed open the door, entered, and then closed the door again. Inside the White Bone Hall, the ground was paved with white bones. The area of this palace was very large. It was about 10,000 square meters in size. And such a huge hall. Below it were all white bones. It was unknown how many people's bones were needed to cover the entire hall. Moreover, the bones were very thick. It was probably no less than 10 meters thick. The entire hall was emitting a cold and terrifying aura. Look, 5 stone steels! Zhu Yan exclaimed as he pointed to the depths. The 5 of them quickly rushed over. The 5 stone steels were suspended in midair. Each of them was emitting a terrifying aura. They did not know what the 5 stone steels were made of. They were emitting an ancient aura, as if they had been around for hundreds of millions of years. It's actually these 5 stone steels. Panda Cat exclaimed in disbelief when he saw the 5 stone steels. What stone steels are these? Lin Feng asked. Zhu Yan, the Hell Demon Beast, and the other 3 overlords looked at Panda Cat curiously. The reason the skeleton evil lord was guarding the white bone hall so carefully. Obviously, it was because of these 5 stone steels. These 5 stone steels probably had an extremely powerful origin. "This is the legendary pentakill steel," Panda Cat said. "Pentakill steel?" Lin Feng and the others were puzzled. This was the first time they had heard of this name. "I once read a rumor about the pentakill steel in a Taoist scripture. It was said that the pentakill steel was made from an ancient demonic stone that was formed when the era collapsed. It was refined by many experts and gradually became a great killing weapon. In the primordial era, countless Khanate life forms died under the suppression of the pentakill steel," Panda Cat said. After hearing Panda Cat's words, Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, and the hell demonic beast all took a deep breath. If the 5 stone steels were really the same as what Panda Cat had said, that would be too heaven-defying. Chapter 2348. Lin Feng and the others were filled with excitement. The pentakill tablet was so powerful that it could drive anyone crazy. Anyone would want to have such a treasure for themselves. Lin Feng said. "It seems that the skeleton evil emperor hasn't refined the pentakill tablet yet. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been placed here." Panda Cat nodded. "That should be the case." Panda Cat suddenly exclaimed in surprise. He seemed to have realized that something was wrong. "What's wrong?" Lin Feng and the others looked at Panda Cat. "Something's wrong with the pentakill tablet." Panda Cat frowned. "Something's wrong? What's wrong?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. "The pentakill tablet lacks a special feeling." Panda Cat frowned. "A special feeling? What kind of feeling?" Xuan asked. "Even though the chi of the pentakill tablet is extremely strong and terrifying, it has killed many Xian Tian cultivators in the past, so its chi should be even more bloodthirsty and cold. I wouldn't be surprised if the chi of the pentakill tablet was 100 times stronger, but the chi of the pentakill tablet in front of us hasn't reached that level yet," Panda Cat said. "Could it be that the pentakill tablet in front of us is a fake?" Xuan couldn't help but ask. "Or is it a replica?" "No! It shouldn't be a fake, nor is it a replica." Panda Cat narrowed his eyes and said, "The scripture I read in the past also said that the pentakill tablet had to be refined many times before a perfect pentakill tablet was created. The pentakill tablet we see now might not be the legendary pentakill tablet, but an imperfect one. But even if it's imperfect, the chi of these 5 tablets is terrifying enough. I can feel the terrifying power contained within them," said the Hell Demon Beast. "A complete pentakill tablet is a treasure that can kill Xiantian lifeforms. Although these 5 tablets aren't perfect, the materials used to refine them are exactly the same as those used to refine a perfect pentakill tablet. Even the evil skeleton king couldn't refine the 5 monoliths, which means that they're extraordinary. Once they're refined, they'll be terrifying. But refining 5 monoliths like that won't be easy," said the evil skeleton king. Panda Cat said. "If the 5 of us refine 1 tablet each, we should be able to refine the pentakill tablet, right?" asked the 3 overlords. "This method is indeed worth a try. Refining such a treasure requires the use of origin essence blood." Panda Cat forced a drop of his blood essence. The origin blood essence emitted intense waves of energy. Soon after, the drop of essence blood landed on a stone tablet. After the stone tablet absorbed Panda's origin blood essence, the word suppress appeared on it. It was a blood-red word that emitted an extremely demonic chi, which made people tremble in fear. When he stared at the word suppress, he would feel a sense of oppression that made it hard for him to breathe. It was as if there was an ancient mountain pressing down on them. The word suppress was exceptionally terrifying. Thinking about it, the word was just a word that appeared on the tablet. It was obvious how terrifying the pentakill tablet was. Lin Feng also took out a drop of his blood essence and dripped it on a tablet. The word kill appeared on that tablet. Zhu Yan, the Hell Demon Beast, and the other 3 overlords also dripped their blood essence on the pentakill tablet. The words destroy, slash, and rend appeared on the other 3 tablets. Suppress, kill, destroy / rend. It seems like each pentakill tablet has a different function, and the 5 tablets can form a very special connection, Panda said. Dripping my blood essence on the pentakill tablet only activated the words on the tablet, but there was no connection between me and the tablet. Obviously, even my blood essence couldn't leave any mark on the tablet, Lin Feng said. Xuan said. Yeah, if the pentakill tablet could be refined so easily, the skeleton evil king would have refined it long ago. It wouldn't be our turn to refine the pentakill tablet. Let's try and see if we can refine the pentakill tablet, Panda said. He took the lead and injected his spiritual power into the pentakill tablet, trying to refine it. After all, the pentakill tablet had absorbed his blood essence, so there was more or less a connection between them. It might be easier to refine it. But when he tried to refine the pentakill tablet, he realized that it was just a dream. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. A moment before, when he was refining the 5 kills tablet, he had realized that there was a strange strength inside that prevented people from refining it. That might be the real reason why he couldn't refine the pentakill tablet. I have an idea, Hell Demonic Beast said. What is it? Everyone looked at Hell Demonic Beast. I have an ancient method called Hell's Covenant. This method is to sign a contract with something that has spirituality. It's a cooperative relationship, not a relationship of refinement. For example, we can cooperate with the pentakill tablet. Normally, we can activate the pentakill tablet's power, but when the pentakill tablet needs us to do something, we'll have to help the pentakill tablet fulfill its request. If we can't do it, we'll be controlled by the pentakill tablet, Hell Demonic Beast said. Damn. Isn't this Hell's Covenant a little too much? If the pentakill tablet wants us to do something that we can't do, we'll just be courting death if we go there. Are we really going to do it? Xuan couldn't help but roll his eyes. If you want to get something, you'll have to pay a price. Think about it. If you think you can take the risk, we'll use Hell's Covenant to sign a contract with the pentakill tablet. If you don't want to take the risk, we'll give up, Hell Demonic Beast said. Everyone fell into deep thought. But soon, they came to a decision. Wealth came from danger. Even though the 5 kill tablets in front of him were not the 5 perfect 5 kill tablets in the myths and legends, these 5 kill tablets were terrifying enough. It was worth taking the risk. Alright, we'll use Hell's Covenant to sign a contract with the pentakill tablet. Everyone nodded. Hell Demonic Beast started chanting an incantation when he saw that everyone had reached a consensus. It was an ancient incantation. When the incantation ended, Hell Demonic Beast asked for a drop of blood essence from Lin Feng and the others. The blood essence burned. It fused with the incantation and entered the pentakill tablet. Hell's Covenant has been formed. The immortal execution tablet of the pentakill tablet will form a contract with you. Suddenly, an ancient voice echoed in Lin Feng's mind. The pentakill tablet with the word execution written on it flew toward Lin Feng. Chapter 2349. The other 4 steels flew towards Panda Cat, Shu Yan, and the Hell Demon Beast, the 3 overlords of the Feral Beasts. The pentakill steel had a spirit. Otherwise, it would not have communicated with Lin Feng through spiritual consciousness. We can't stay here for long. Let's go, Panda said after keeping the pentakill steel. Lin Feng also kept the pentakill steel. Everyone used the death cloak as cover and left the Skeleton Mountain Range. After leaving the Skeleton Mountain Range, the 5 of them headed to the Black Hell Demon King's territory. They looted the Skeleton Evil King's pentakill steel. Lin Feng and the rest were naturally looking forward to getting something good from the Black Hell Demon King. After all, the Black Hell Demon King was a powerful existence many years before the Skeleton Evil King. When the Black Hell Demon King became an overlord, the Skeleton Evil King was still a nobody. The Black Hell Demon King's headquarters was in the Black Hell Demonic City. The security here was also extremely tight. There were Netherworld soldiers patrolling everywhere in the huge city. Lin Feng and the rest used the old method to enter the Black Hell demonic city with the help of the Death Cloak. There was an army of Netherworld soldiers stationed in the Black Hell demonic city. Although the Black Hell Demon King led the army to fight against the Skeleton Evil King, only a portion of the army was left. However, the Black Hell Devil King had only taken away a portion of the Nether soldiers. There were still a large number of Nether soldiers stationed within the Black Hell Devil capital. Lin Feng and the rest arrived at the Black Hell Demonic City's Imperial City. This was the residence of the Black Hell Demon King. The Imperial Palace was huge and had many halls. After the 5 of them sneaked into the Imperial Palace, they began to look for the Black Hell Demon King's palace. Ordinary treasures could not pique the interest of Lin Feng and the rest. There might be something extraordinary in the Black Hell Demon King's palace. That palace should be the main palace. Zhu Yan pointed at a huge palace in the depths. The palace was as black as ink and was 300 meters tall. It was as majestic as a mountain. Even from a long distance away, they could feel a heavy sense of oppression from the huge palace. That palace was like a crane in a flock of chickens amidst the densely packed palaces. That palace should be the main palace. The 5 of them quickly walked towards the main hall. Soon they arrived. There were no patrolling guards around the main hall, which made Lin Feng and the others puzzled. Something's not right. Let's be careful, Lin Feng reminded. Panda and the others nodded. They pushed the palace door open and entered the palace. It was pitch black inside the palace. A pair of pale green eyes stared at him through the black fog. He looked at the 5 people who had entered the palace. When they saw that pair of green eyes, the faces of Lin Feng and the others changed. Let's go! Cat Bear shouted in a deep voice. That mysterious existence made his hair stand on end. There was actually such a terrifying existence in the main palace of the Black Hell Devil King. Fresh flesh and blood, how nostalgic! A cold voice sounded. A withered hand reached out from the black fog. It was a hand that had already rotted away. The palm was still emitting a foul smell. That palm directly enveloped Lin Feng and the others, making it impossible for them to escape. Do it! Cat Bear shouted in a deep voice. He was the first to attack. He slapped his palm towards the withered hand. Then, Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Devil Beast, the 3 overlords, all attacked. Boom! 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 Lin Feng and the others all gathered their powerful attacks and blasted at the withered palm. Boom! The 2 sides suddenly collided fiercely. Cat Bear, Lin Feng, Zhu Yan, and the Hell Devil Beast, the 3 overlords, were all blasted away. Damn, so powerful! Panda Cat immediately yelled and turned to dash outside. The mysterious existence in the darkness waved his right hand. The black fog rolled and blocked the way. That terrifying existence did not intend to let Lin Feng and the others leave. Such delicious flesh and blood should stay and become my food. The existence let out a sinister voice. His voice was very hoarse. It was also very old. Obviously, this existence was old and weak. What kind of existence is this? Lin Feng's expression was serious. He opened the heavenly demon snake eye. Then, he saw the terrifying existence in the black fog. That existence had the body of a human and the tail of a crocodile. Its body was densely covered in dragon scales. Its head was neither human nor beast. It was extremely ugly. After seeing that ugly existence, Lin Feng could not help but exclaim, "A foreign god! It's actually a foreign god!" In the past, Lin Feng had killed dozens of foreign gods in the ancient celestial city with the heaven-shaking stone steel. He had also seen the foreign god on the ancient celestial ship that carried Great Emperor Grimm. Therefore, he recognized at a glance that the terrifying existence in the hall was a foreign god. The foreign god was very terrifying and ambitious. The end of many great eras was related to the foreign god. Since ancient times, countless beings had died tragically at the hands of the foreign god. The otherworld gods were definitely the most powerful enemies in this universe. The 3 highest realms. The 3,000 great realms. They had fought the foreign god countless times and suffered heavy losses before they were able to temporarily seal the passage from the foreign world to this universe. The foreign god was the public enemy of this universe. Therefore, when he saw that the mysterious existence in the hall was actually a foreign god, Lin Feng was extremely shocked. What? A foreign god? The expressions of Panda Cat and the others changed abruptly. Obviously, they knew how terrifying the foreign god was. That's right. I am a foreign god. I was suppressed in the underworld in the past. A few years ago, I was released by the Black Hell Demon King. The foreign god's cold voice sounded. The foreign deities are punishable by death. As the Lord of the Underworld, the Black Hell Demon King actually released you? Why is that? Lin Feng asked. Heh. The foreign god sneered, but did not answer Lin Feng's question. At this moment, Lin Feng could not help but think of a certain possibility. He could not help but frown slightly. Panda Cat said, "It seems that the Black Hell Demon King wants to get something important from you, right? But he's asking a tiger for its skin." The foreign god said faintly, "Ambition can often make people take risks. Not only is the Black Hell Demon King ambitious, he is also extremely dissatisfied with his current situation. The Black Hell Demon King has been cultivating for far too long. He has begun to move from the peak of his middle age to the beginning of his old age, but he has been unable to break through his shackles. He needs to take a gamble. If he does not, when he enters old age, he will no longer have any hope of breaking through his shackles. An old overlord is bound to be targeted by many overlords.